Oh, where are we at?
Again.
Hello?
I'm good. Hey,
Okay.
everybody, and welcome to the whole discussion. Good. All right.
I can barely
Sorry about
hear
that.
you.
Hello, everyone. You hear me? You good?
I can hear you. It's just not very loud right at the moment. Isn't that
Okay.
something always,
Well,
always?
yeah. It's the first of the podcast. It always something for a few minutes. So hopefully it's good now. Are we good, everybody? Golden, great, gravy. All
Yeah, I
right.
got you.
All right. Sorry, everybody, once again for the intro there. Myself, Josh Basinger here of Basinger's Disc Golf Channel. And as you can see to my side over here, I've got a man who will introduce himself.
This is Josh, Daddy Delp Disc Golf over here. Always interesting start.
Yeah, always. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way, right? I mean, that's just how it
No,
is. So,
I was literally like, I'm
um,
just going to go to Facebook and try to share this real quick. And then all of a sudden, I was no audio. I went,
that's great. So, yeah. So, I'm glad you said that. Good segue. If anybody's watching, please share this to Facebook. We have a I almost said we have a giveaway tonight, and I will bring the individual who is doing the giveaway in just a few seconds. First, I just want to let everyone know what this podcast is about. If you're new here, myself, Josh Basinger, and Daddy Up Disc Golf over here on the whole discussion here, we do every other week, every other Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we discuss a different course that both him and I have both played. Basically, do a live course review. So this is episode 5 and will be the back nine at Morristown Kiwanis Disc Golf Course in Morristown, Tennessee. So, without any further ado, I will go ahead and bring in Mr. Jacob Standridge.
How y'all doing tonight?
T-Rex. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing
Great.
good. Can't complain.
All right. So, basically, just to get started here, I'm going to put a comment here in the live feed, and if anybody wants to kind of Discord as we go along, let's see here if I can get it to paste and enter. You can open this link in a different tab, and then you can watch the course along this and talk to us. Never done that before, but figured that'd be a good decision. So, you want to talk about some stuff we had go up this week first, Josh, or do you want to go ahead and get into it?
I mean, if you want to, I didn't have anything spectacular come out because YouTube said so.
Okay.
I had what's it called? I had the box of goodies from RPM come, and I also did the little challenge video. Good segue that you're going to be doing next.
Maybe not. It depends.
Maybe.
He called me out on something before speaking to me about it. So next week I'll be calling him out on a video where if you lose the challenge, you cut your index finger off.
Okay, that's fine. You didn't say which hand, my left. I'm good.
He said that's fine.
That's fine because
All
got
so,
a good one for you the next week.
I don't want to be involved in this anymore. We're cutting off fingers and appendages.
No, you're in. You're in.
He's like Saw.
You want to play a game?
Not really.
I'm
gonna turn my air.
flash there and show. Hey. Oh, he's out. All right. Well, I'm gonna let Jacob talk about it then, and hopefully the picture popped up here. Having a little bit of lag on my end today. Shout out to the 7 people watching. I really appreciate y'all being here. But Jacob, you want to talk about this and how we're going to do the giveaway tonight?
Yeah. So this is a Z Glow Raptor. One of the Infinite Disc stamps. I thought it was really cool because I thought it was like a T-Rex, and I'm a part of Team Gravity. which is their whole big astronaut theme too. So I thought that was really cool as well. So I just did a really cool like cell die on it. I've been really getting into the cell dies quite a bit lately, and pretty happy with how everything's been turning out with that. So how we're going to really choose the winner tonight is whoever gets the best comment that I think is the best of Franny's comment will be the winner of this disc tonight. Still, he can't win because he showed up late. He said he was new here, so.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that'll get some people chatting here in the comments. First of all, I want to thank you, Jacob, for donating a disc to do a giveaway on here on the whole discussion. So I really appreciate that.
No problem.
All right. Well, like he said, that's going to be the giveaway of the night, sponsored by T-Rex Disc Golf. So make sure you go follow him on all of the social media during or after the podcast, just as a thank you for him donating this disc. So
I
light up the chat
Yeah.
because he will be picking one. Are you going to pick it before the podcast is over?
Okay. I would hope so.
So we will know who the winner is
in 3 hours.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's not let this drag on too much because we know how we ramble. Show up a few pictures of some videos if you want to watch of Morristown Kiwanis. So this is a thumbnail here where I've 17 state championships. Morristown Kiwanis Disc Golf Course. You can see Logan Bowers, Chris Dickerson, Colin Carter, Dutch Napier. And this is round 3, part 1 of that Tennessee State coverage. And then here's the part 2, which is actually split up. It's not front and back 9. However, you can see the back 9 on this video here of myself and Disc Golf Dude, who's good friend of mine, doing the casual at Morristown Kiwanis. So, and then one last thing before we get started on the course, I've got a little announcement to make that I don't know if you guys even are aware of this yet, but I'll show you this design that I've done here. Morristown Kiwanis Disc Golf Course, a little logo that you can get on stickers. You can get them on hoodies. You could get it on T-shirts and all that. And it should be linked below in the comments of this video, or I'm sorry, under the description of this video here. So if anybody's interested in getting any kind of Morristown Kiwanis, kind of supporting BDGC because I did the designs and supporting the local courses, check that out. So,
it's a really cool little
well,
design.
I don't have anything else, and you guys, unless you guys do, we can get into the. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And just so you know, I already have 3 more designs coming for Cherokee, Franklin Reno, and Panther Creek, which are already designed and ready to go. Just waiting on when we do the whole discussion to announce them. So
is Panther Creek
get
going to be
yourself
like
some merch and where's
is Panther Creek going to be like just where people like come crawling out of the course because it defeats them? And it's so much weapon.
Well, I figure I told Teespring for Panther Creek to shirts to me first, and I'll cut holes in it everywhere just to make it look like they've actually been to Panther Creek. So
I figured it would just be a big
All
picture of a dick.
A big old tit.
Yeah,
That's funny. All right. Well, unless y'all have anything else, we'll go ahead and get about hole 10.
I do know that
here.
I'm actually going to start.
Say we are on the back 9, so
hole 10.
Sweet, brother. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Make sure you go over and subscribe to T-Rex Disc Golf on YouTube. And I will say one more thing before we get going. My little Ethernet cable tab on it broke off. So if at any I leave, that is because my cat knocked it out. So I will be purchasing a new Ethernet cable before. Yeah, I don't know what'll happen. I don't know if it'll end the broadcast or what, but I'm trying to keep an eye on it. So he said duct tape.
Yeah, for sure. Duct tape.
All right, and I've done something to these little pictures here, so you'll see what I'm going to throw the pic. So let's talk about Morristown Kiwanis Disc Golf Course back 9. You guys ready?
We are.
Sweet. All right. So as you can see here, the picture should be going up soon. Is hole number 10 at Morristown Kiwanis Disc Golf Course. It is 220. That picture right there. All right, so you can see a much younger Joshua Basinger here on the tee, looking good in the orange on orange. So this holes that, as you can kind of probably tell from the picture, there are alternate fairways. The intended fairway is straight up the middle, and it's kind of like a lefty, either like a lefty hyzer or a low lefty shot. Forehand for a righty, so you can get up and skip and flutter around over towards the basket. You can see where the bat is, where I've got that little blue area highlight. A little something new I've done here on the mission. Most of the locals are going to play this line to the right of that big tree, which is what I do. I kind of do a pin off the tee. As I said, this one's only 224, and it does play a little bit downhill over a ravine, and then it's almost eye level with you, maybe a little bit downhill. But what do you guys think about this hole?
It is what it is. Golly, is that my
You
computer?
got that weed. You got that weed again.
Wow, that thing just like lit up like a
Wow.
You said hunting season. Mother disc golf. What? I'm hunting them with a weed eater. No,
Not even brought the
most
concept up
people,
yet.
as
Here
you
we go.
know, is going to be playing this hole not the way it's intended. So it's okay.
Mhm.
Like if you're playing the fairway, it's a really kind of difficult too. God, I feel like I'm gonna
Mhm.
fly away here in a second. Blown away. It wasn't doing that until just a second ago. So it stopped me all of a sudden. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
this is one of those holes for me, like you said. It's like, most people are not playing the intended fairway. Uh, I have before, but it's very, very thick over there to the well, kind of in the middle of it, honestly, and it's thick to the left side as well. But I do, like I said, I do a patent pending with a putter. I'll take a Magma Soft 2E, stand backwards, and just do a patent pending shot off the tee, and just hope I get it turned and don't hit one of those and fall down into the pit.
yeah. I mean, we do probably the same thing. I assume Jacob probably does the same thing as the forehand. I don't know. Do you flick
I,
the
I
outside?
I try to hit that line on that right hand side, but majority of the time, if you don't hit that line just right with the right disc, where it to have enough fight back or air holds that line at any line on a forehand for a long time, you're going to end up hitting a tree and going down in that pit, and you're going to end up taking a 4.
Mm-hmm.
It,
If you get enough distance off of it, though, it's just a putt up to the green for a 3.
yeah, it's still though an easy hole to get a 4 on for sure.
It is.
It's one
It
of those
is.
at
Yeah.
Morristown, like we talked about last time we were on here, that it seems like an easy 2 or an easy 3, but it can end up putting it in the butt.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for me though, I
Right.
think the only time I've taken a 4 on that hole is trying to play the actual fairway.
Yeah, there's so many sneaky trees on the actual fairway. It's almost like might as well go for it.
Like, I think I tried to throw it, then got cut short, and then there's sometimes you get in a spot where there's just not a line to the basket without you having to miss trees. And then once that occurs, it's just like if you throw your second shot and you hit a tree, you're taking a 4 automatically. I just play that open area on the right is just like if I bite off 200 feet, I should be able to pitch up to the green and get a 3. So
Yeah, but I suck at
you
putting,
might get a
so
roll or
Right.
something. But
I've actually seen I think it was the 2016 footage here on this course. I've seen Chris Dickerson actually hit and landed downhill on that right side over there and actually threw it in for the 2 from there. It
man,
was an incredible shot.
of course he did. Of course he did.
man, they keep on talking about my
Yeah.
shirt. It is
Surprise,
Tennessee, but
surprise.
man, it's the Ice Bears. Come on, hockey, get off of me.
I'm not sure he's talking about that or if he's talking about my shirt on the thumbnail there, because that was definitely
Oh
Tennessee
well,
orange, and it was
that's
disgusting.
probably true. Well, I mean, this is technically Tennessee Orange because it's a Tennessee team, but I mean,
I just
every
know
way he called both of us
Skelly is
dumb.
getting farther and farther away
True.
from coming to the knot.
Oh man,
Oh
it's
wow!
the only sport I keep up with is
Justin
hockey.
Spears says there are no trees.
There are
Ma-
no trees. It's
Man, what
Make
a
spelled.
fantasy
the
world you live
picture
in.
again because they're trees.
There are trees.
I
Oh.
want to play where he's playing
So
disc
this,
golf.
I don't know. Like we said, this hole is, I don't know. I hate when people don't use the intended fairway. I hate when it's like more open on the non-intended fairway, which I've heard. I don't know how much truth to this there is, but I've heard that originally it was supposed to be a Mando to go to the left, but they just never put it on the up.
I mean, that's is that
That
kind
would
of
make more sense, honestly.
just bad course design?
I don't know. Sometimes you just. I mean, there is something to be said if you just wanted that right gap to be accessible. You could have just put the tee about 10 feet over to the right, and it been the fairway. It just looked like somebody.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if it's just like they wanted to change it up and have a basket go to the right, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a good little fairway with cool rocks or something in it," and then just wanted to try to make people play that one. But
Well, I mean, it's but
Well,
if they put a Mando there, I feel like it would be. I feel like a Mando should be more about safety than it should be about making the course different because you didn't intend the line to be that way. Because that's
yeah,
part of the beauty of disc golf is making your own line sometimes when no one else sees.
hmm I
mhm.
mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Mandos in general, unless it is just a necessity for keeping people from throwing over a road or something where you can hit a car or throwing over sidewalks or something, or over other
Mhm.
fairways sometimes. Wow. I got some sort of notification that came right through my ears just that's why my eyes got so
I,
big. What? Yeah.
I
Uh,
actually heard also about this whole. This is, well, I'm not sure. This is just hearsay, but I've heard that originally this whole the pin was straight, uh, right in like that little dip that's on the left side of hole 11, but people kept going into a hole 11's fairway, so they moved
yeah.
the pin over to the right.
I mean, that would make sense if they just changed the hole
Hmm.
because of that, and then that was what the result was. I don't know. I've thrown.
Hmm.
I think the first time I played that hole, I think I threw the fairway with a forehand, and I thought I threw a good shot. And then I think that was the time I ended up taking a four because I hit a tree early, and then I was maybe like 60 feet from the green, and then like hit a tree 35 feet short with like an approach putt and took a four. So I was like, okay. And then
Yeah.
everybody else was doing that. And to be clear, like if you've not played here, the tee shot to go the right side is not like that like great of an advantage. It is an easier shot to throw, but I mean, every time you see somebody throw it, they're standing on the very back corner of the tee on the
Hmm.
right, and it's just like people trying to keep their feet off of the ground so they can throw their tee shot. It's the most like kind of stupid looking thing to see somebody doing, trying to almost balance
Yeah.
step up and throw their
Yeah.
forehand.
I mean, you're
Yeah,
right. I just said I throw a patenting off the tee. I mean, when do you ever see anybody throw a patent pending shot off
Yeah, off a
of the
tee.
tee? You know what I mean? So
it
Yeah.
definitely. If someone doesn't
yeah,
know
off
that
a tee.
course, they're gonna be like, "What are you lining up to throw here?" Like they're gonna have no clue that where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I did that whenever I
Yeah.
played the first time playing this course blind because I'm pretty sure I played it blind in tournament the first time I played it or something, and people were like standing on the very back. I was like, "What are they about to do? Like, why is he standing so far back to the right? The fairway's right there." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, didn't see that over there." I mean, I've tooted that way and almost
I guess it kind
hit
of.
the back times, but
Mhm. I guess it almost depends, honestly, with this hole on if you are the kind of person that tries to do an ace run and still have a putt, or if you are just simply playing only for par. You know, if you're playing for par, then the intended fairway is exactly what you need to do because you never have to worry about going down into the rough on the right because that is a pretty big hole down there. Like, there's actually a sinkhole down in the bottom, so I've seen it go in that sinkhole and it almost be your disc almost be unretrievable. So, but I guess the only way to really play that center is either like a righty forehand and get the skip over there, but you're still going to have. I mean, I guess it depends on the arm, but you could still have 30 feet of a putt, 20 to 30 foot. You know what I mean? Not a lot of times are you seeing this whole part from that side.
I don't even think you can like consistently even play a skip forehand because it's so rocky on that side that because that's what happened to me. I didn't realize how bad the fairway was on that side, so I was like, why is everybody throwing this stupid like step out forehand? And it's because of that. It's either you have to throw like hit a very small window with the forehand to get to the green, or if you throw it too low, it's going to hit rocks or something like that and not skip really. So you're just still going to be left short. So it was just one of those ones. I'm like we talked about on this course last time. Every hole I step up to on this course, I'm going. I want to two it. So I mean, if you're not doing a lot of these holes, you're going to be falling behind in the tournament. So I mean, that's what you were talking about. Like if you're going for par or birdie, it's like I mean, every time I'm just going to take the line of least resistance, whether it's going to give me a 4 maybe or not. If it's going to produce a 2 over a 3, that's the line I'm going to be trying to get.
That's true.
At least on a course like this.
I will say I've seen it ace on that right side.
Yeah, I feel like
Ferguson's
done it, hadn't he?
Oh, probably 24 times would be my guess.
Yeah, in March of last year.
I just know
In March.
every time I get to this hole, I'm like, well, which disc would I want to take a big gash out of today?
Yeah, because that like little step up right before the green too. There's like some rocks and junk too. If you throw it too low, I mean, if you land right there, it's like a 20, 25 foot putt. So I mean, I've tooed it from there too, but mainly it's just not hitting the first tree on the left. This computer, man.
You're good, man. I barely hear it, so it's no big deal. There's really not. I mean, I feel like we just keep rehashing the same. We're like going back and forth, like me, you, him, and just kind of saying. So there's not really much more to say about this hole. The last thing I will say about it for myself personally is, I have being a lefty, I have done like a big hyzer over anything before in the past and got over there for a putt, but it's grown up so much. I mean, this was like 8 years ago, you know what I mean? And it's grown up so much now. It used to be, but I don't. I mean, I think now there's like a 40-foot gap you've got to hit up there now, so it's a lot more difficult now, though. Oh, just said that Justin in the comments. He said no over the top 7 line. There is, but it's a very small gap you have to hit these days. But for me, for this hole, I'm going to say it's not my favorite hole, but it's also not one of my least favorite holes on the course. What about you guys?
It's probably my least favorite.
I'm probably going to give it a thumbs down just because of the I just hate whenever they have a weird stance on a tee shot to get a really good shot. Like I just don't like that. If the tee was in a different spot and then it was a better thing maybe, or if it, like you said, the basket was in a different spot where it was, it'd be good.
Yeah, I feel like it's more like a poke and hope hole, so it's not really.
Like if they'd have pulled that basket, like I know it was probably just wanted to make it harder, but like have it just shorter and still kind of favor like the lefty line or something. I think it would be better because more people would throw that fairway instead of trying that one way, pull it back like 30 feet to the tee and a little left or something, and just favor that like gentle. So yeah, that's my thought.
Or take. I saw it in the comments earlier. I've switched from that page now, so I don't know who it was, but take a couple trees on that left side gap would make it a little bit more fair, in my opinion, as well. So,
Well, Stelly said bring a machete. So I mean, I don't think he was talking about the disc.
Bring a machete.
I doubt it. All right. Well, I don't have anything for that hole unless you guys do.
No, I think I'm good
No.
on it. Moving
Okay.
on.
All right. Well, so a little bit of lag on my end, so we'll go ahead and here for hole number 11, which is 200. Know in the comment if you like the little circle there that's showing where the basket is. Hopefully that helps the viewers be able to see how this hole plays a little bit better. But this one for me is another really odd hole. It plays uphill to the left, and there's honestly one particular shot that you can kind of guess your guy's shot and see if I'm right. But I personally, as a lefty, am throwing a backhand turnover with something that I know I can turn, but will still get a little bit of fade. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like with you guys, you're going to be doing a forehand instead of a hyzer backhand on the forehand turnover. Is that correct?
Yeah, forehand all the way.
I think we hurt mother's feelings.
Yeah, I just replied to him. He said no love for mother. He's out.
See in the comment.
No rollers? Question mark. I was like,
Was
no,
he leaving?
No, he.
Oh, no rollers.
I said no rollers.
Mother,
Absolutely.
Don't leave us.
Oh,
Your participation is appreciated, so don't leave us here.
Her and Daddy are fighting.
Listen, I replied. Nah, this is like you said. This is another weird.
No, I mean, I don't.
Let's nod at each other.
Go ahead, Josh.
No, I agree. This is a weird hole. Honestly, on this course, and a couple of things, like Jacob said, the first time this, I think it was you, didn't you say it was, or somebody else? Pickle maybe said it was a forehanders course actually, or something. It might have been Pickle or something.
Yes, he
I
did.
thought, this Pickle probably did. Every hole on this course definitely can be forehand approach from a right-handed forehand.
And I think it's up until this hole. I don't know that I've actually thrown, but like maybe one forehand, and then or up until hole 10, and then it's just like I don't stop throwing forehands for like 5 holes,
Yeah,
or something like that because of the shot's so weird. Like this hole, the backhand is basically just going to be your play to take a 3, I think, unless you get super lucky because that wall of trees on the right that just kind of bends with it. It's just like it just comes up so quick. You can't get a hyzer there. I don't think. I don't. I could be wrong, but every time I've thrown it, I've hit those trees or went deep in it, and then you don't have a putt at all.
No, that hole is Josh, I don't think that picture really does it. It's such a hard turn to the left. I guess like almost like a 90 degree or less. Like it's extremely hard. There's no way you can get I don't feel like you could really get a right-handed backhand hyzer through there very well for it to sit flat on those because it's so rocky there too. I've taken like a Berg or maybe I think I would take a Challenger or a Ringer and throw it on an ante, a real high ante, and let it kind of pan out and sit. I think that's the only way. Now there is another line that I don't know if y'all know about. Right to the left of the tee pad, there is a gap that is about there's a gap about 2 feet to 3 feet wide.
I've seen it.
If you could take something stupid overstable and fast, you see where your dot is, Josh?
Your dot is.
Yeah, where your dot is, that gap right there.
Yeah.
Where you?
Oh no, that's
you
dumb.
take something.
Yeah, I mean it's very high risk.
Basically, you're taking a machete or an X1 or something really stupid overstable, and you throw it on a little bit of an ante to get the curve a little bit and flatten out. It skips right there to the basket and it's an easy bird.
But
Right.
then,
It's hard.
Now,
It's definitely a you're risking it and reward. So I mean,
like a very high
right,
risk
and I want to
reward.
clarify also while the picture's up here that like, oh sorry, Delp. It's like while the picture's up here, I just wanted to say it. I've got some extreme lag, so it's going to be kind of difficult tonight. I apologize for that, guys. But um, to the so the camera, as you can see, is to the right of the tee pad. So when you're standing on this tee pad, you're basically just looking at a wall of trees, and you can actually see a better line from this angle than what you see when you're standing on the tee.
Yeah, definitely. When you step up, you just look at it generally and you go, "What the heck is this hole? Why? Hey,
Yeah,
there's a baby.
we got baby T Rex here.
baby T-Rex
Look at that little baby."
chewing on a Pierce.
No,
He's adorable.
Thank
yeah,
you.
chewing a fierce.
You don't know what's going on, do you?
That's what they're better suited for. So, anyway, this whole is I don't know. I don't want to say I dislike this hole, but it's kind of another one of those holes where it's like you step up on the tee and you look at it, you know what the shot is, but you have such a small percentage to hit that shot. I mean, like we talk about Kiwanis, this entire course is one of those courses where it's like you got to hit your line. Like capitalize that sentence on this hole, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this one I've tooed it like maybe not many times, a couple times, but like T
Mm-hmm.
Rex. The only way I think I've ever tooed it was something like A3 or something like that on a forehand. I think and that time I went long of the basket. I almost hit the basket and hit the rock behind the basket. I got lucky and it stayed. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it takes one of those weird shots. It's another one that's very almost similar to what you throw. You just pick a different disc from the hole before it.
It's basically a patent pending shot
Hmm.
off the tee.
You're throwing that little
Yeah,
super high, like nose up
floaty,
forehand. Like,
floaty, overstable forehand. Yeah, with a putter or something. Baby T-Rex says hi, mother.
Mm-hmm.
You're acknowledged.
Another thing about this hole is it's that weird distance with the uphill to where it's like you if you actually do hit it right, then you're going long, and if you don't hit it right, you're coming up way short. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've honestly seen
Yeah.
discs get close to the next tee before because of that. Because it
Oh
sits
yeah.
like
I've
perpendicular
never
to
seen them get quite that far, but
I
Mhm.
swear, I think Charlotte was about to come in here. I heard you run.
Oh, that's probably Luke.
Oh,
Are we just doing a children episode? Like my children are not here, but I'll get Amanda to text T and have her to come in the chat.
I thought you were just going to grab your rabbits.
You got your cats, don't you?
I have
Um,
a cat, and he's little. We should have
About to
named
pull
him
the
Satan.
Ethernet cord out.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
I
this
hope he
hole's
does. I
probably
really
not.
hope he.
This hole's probably not one of my favorites on the course at all, just because it's so different. It's very strange. I think a zone
Mm.
flick would work pretty good, mother. It just depends if you've got a zone. Or kind of weird for me sometimes. They don't want to fight out of an ante. They want to stay on that edge sometimes a little bit too much. And this is one of those holes that you have to have it kind of sit flat. I've seen people go long and are in that wall of trees behind the fairway, and it's just a pain to get out of that.
I
Mhm.
mean, I could probably do zone or like a yarn or something like that. I've done A3. It just depends on your preferred, I guess, angle that you want to throw a forehand. You have to at least throw it no matter what on a pretty severe one. But at that point, you've got to kind of control the power. So it would be what you're most comfortable with. Because like he's talking about, like, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing if you threw a zone forehand and it just held to the left the whole way. you just have to really kind of push that back edge tree.
Yeah, it's just
on
so
the right
rocky.
side. It's really rocky. So, I mean, if you throw it high enough and you throw the right stability disc, generally like the A3 or something, to fly the path, then there's a good chance it's going to go long. Because I see people throw Firebirds, A3s, whatever. It's just whatever overstable disc that you're comfortable with, like a Kia would work or something. Anything that's at stability, like you could power down on a fairway and get it, but the chances of it skipping off the rock or something like that's going to be higher. Or if you just underpower the fairway, then it's going to dump out really early and you're going to have a crappy putt.
Yeah.
It's just like a wall of
Or
trees.
or I think also with the fairway it's going to be like right where the basket is where that fairway is going to want to try and flex out. You know what I mean? And that's what causes people to go so far on this one. So it's like maybe you get lucky and hit the basket, or exactly, yeah. So, sorry, I cannot. I was reading Justin. I was trying to say Jacob, but Jacob, I don't know if you see, but Alex Rogers here in the comments said that he's definitely will try that line that you mentioned next time at Kiwanis.
If you can hit it pure, then it's a birdie. It's gonna bounce. It's gonna skip right up there to it. It's just a very strange. It's like 10, where you sit on the very back. You want to be on the very top right corner on that tee pad, or just because it's got a little slot little annie, just very slight annie turn, and something has to flatten out quick and push and slide right up there. It'll be easy for a bird, but it's very much risk reward.
I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody accidentally hit that before.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else about this hole unless you guys do. I'm going another sideways thumb here. Like I said, I'm going to be leaning a little bit closer towards down, but it's going to be like this. Just simply because, like you said, it's one of those shots that this shot that you're throwing off of this tee, you probably throw it, and like this is going to be almost the only time in your whole disc golf career that you throw this exact shot. You're not even going to see this for many approaches. You know what I mean?
Not generally, yeah. The only reason I'm doing this is because I can actually get a run up on it and stand on the tee correctly, as opposed to the last hole whenever I'm throwing basically the same type of shot, just lower.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well,
that's just, I don't know. It's a down for me. I just don't like how it's such a weird and strange shot. I mean I understand that's a fairway and that's disc golf too, but it's just very unorthodox.
It is. It's a very unusual line that you throw. It's not generally what you intend to throw a disc like, unless you're in trouble.
Yeah,
like really bad trouble.
And it's kind of you step up to it and like you see what it is instantly, and you're like, wow, I'm not comfortable doing this because absolutely nobody is. You know what I mean? This one's really tricky for a left-hander because I've got to like lean over on it, turn it, and then hope it flexes back. You know what I mean?
Hope you have a good chiropractor, Josh.
Yeah. Mike Smith, contact me. All right. Well, that's it. Unless y'all have anything else about this, go ahead and move on to hole 13. Good with moving on?
I am good with this one. 13? You mean 12, dog?
I mean, I thought we were supposed to do the front.
No, we're skipping. We're trying to make this quicker.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do the front 9 minus hole 12. I know y'all are going to say it's a lefty. It is. I agree. All right. We'll throw up hole number 12 here. As you can see, this one is 312 feet. It's going to be kind of difficult to see where this is. I actually don't think the little blue dot just under the whole discussion logo there, I don't think it's far enough over to the right.
Yeah, I don't think it. I think it maybe is a little bit further right.
I think it's probably about another 30, 40 feet to the right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I just wanted to throw something up to kind of show you the general direction of this one. So, as you can see, flat off the tee goes over a little ravine, and then it goes uphill after that ravine, and then to the right. So, basically, on this one, be a lefty. The only tip I have for you, honestly, on this.
This is a different whole kind of. This is another one though that you have the gap that you kind of got to hit. That's like around 200 feet away from you, kind of like hole 2 was, but uphill. It's a little bit fairer of a fairway, if you want to say that. But it's a forehand, generally a driver for me all day.
Yeah, I agree. Something about this hole. If you don't commit to it though, you're gonna end up early right, and it's jail. It's very very woody on that right side. I probably would throw a nuke on this one. Honestly, throw something or one of those ESP forces because they're not as overstable as Z. And I would try and hit that little dirt patch on top of that hill and have it while it's fading in, and have that really nice skip because I've gotten plenty of twos on that hole doing that.
This is the fun fact one where this is the only hole on the course I've actually aced.
Oh, that's a good ace.
Had no idea.
Wow, that's a very good forehand.
Yep, forehand. It was the first run of Ricky Destroyers they had. It was the first time I played Tennessee States, I think. I think it was the first time I played Tennessee States. It was my first hole on the day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Or first hole at this tournament.
Well, let's just start like that then.
I just got done playing Panther Creek and had an atrocious round. Was not very happy because I think I played Panther blind. I guess it was atrocious for what I was expecting because I had not played it and most everybody else had. And I threw that. And it was funny because I was Bob. I was bottom on the tee, 5 people on the card. Threw my shot, and I knew Kiwanis a little bit to where I threw my shot, and then as I was kind of like turning around, I thought I heard like some faint change, and I turned around and like somebody on my card, and I was like, I think somebody's putting already. I was like, dude, I thought I heard some change. I was like, I swear, maybe one of these short holes, somebody's putting already. Like, I don't understand. So we all just kind of walk up the fairway and we keep on going. And we get to that like a patch where it kind of connects to what hole is it that if you look over to the right, is that hole 8?
I think, yeah, right.
Picnic table and hole 8.
Yes.
We were walked up and we were waiting for somebody on our card to throw. And I was looking over. I was like, dude, they keep staring at us. What's up with that group of people? And they were just all going. Looking at the group, and me and whoever it was on my card looked back and we were like, and then they just kept looking at us, and then they walked off, and I was like, all right, I don't know what's up with them. And then we got over the little ravine part, and we were on the up slope to the basket, and I looked, and I was like, there's something green in the basket, and I threw a green disc.
You had to have a really good skip, man. I mean, I've gone far of that basket from a good skip, but you had to hit that heel just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I've two'd this one a few times, and then I got the ace, and it's always been the same way. It's like I've walked up a couple of times and been like 15 feet past the basket, and then there's like that big tree right in front of the basket.
Yeah.
To the left of it, I've been just inside of that. So it's just throwing that disc that does this, like the flare skip hop instead of that like kind of straight pushy thing. So it's like throwing something that gets that like scoop, I think, is like, I mean, you can get a roll off of that too, but that's generally how I throw that shot. I try to get it to go almost like 280 or 290, hit that and get that jump. And I think that's what it did that day because it wasn't like, chang. It was like I said, I thought I heard some change. Maybe somebody's putting on it. It's funny. I didn't think I aced.
Well, mother's asking the questions here. Were you in the tournament payout for an ace?
Yes, I was. It was my first tournament ace ever, and I was the only ace all the way until the last day.
Oh, you have to share it.
So I ended up going from I ended up going from an $1,100 ace pot to a $500 and some dollar ace pot.
Still though,
I mean,
I didn't win the tournament. But I got a $500 ace. I'm
no,
gonna
I
go home
mean, it was
happy.
funny. Like half the people I was talking to that were
Yeah.
like pros and stuff, they were like, "Dude, you're gonna go home with more money than me." And I was like, "I know," and I placed like 50th.
I just want to know those guys on the card that you aced with, and they're just like, "Well, this is how today's gonna go. I'm just gonna go home then."
Yeah. And what was funny too is I almost had my ace
It's
pot
a
getting
fun
away.
story. Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I waited. I didn't know the etiquette for ace pot stuff. I was like, because I went over to Frank where Pro was playing, because at the time I was playing advanced still. It was my last year. I think I played advanced. I can't remember. And like I said, I'd already played so crappy at Panther, I was kind of out of it. And then Kiwanis ended up being my best round. Like I got the ace, and then I won my card. So they gave away like a Bowling Green disc from 3 years ago. Because, you know, and
HB tournament.
yeah, HB tournament, and I went over to Frank. I was like, they're doing the final 9. I guess aces still count in the ace pot, I guess. So I waited until they were all done, and I was like, I want to leave because I just wanted to get money and go. And then I finally walked up when they were done. He's like, oh yeah. I didn't even know you aced. And Timmy Lutz. I don't know if you know, either of y'all know him. The Lutz's family. He was the only other person that aced, and he aced hole. What is it? Hole 11 at Cherokee with a forehand. I was like, it's kind of a similar ace, forehand skip, and he aced like on the last day or something like that. I was like, oh man. He was like, yeah. He's like, I went to get my ace pot, and they were almost was going to give it all to me, and he was like, no, Josh Delp aced too. I think he's in the ace pot. And I was like, man, I love you.
That's a good guy right there.
I love you. They're good people anyway. Lutches are good people.
No,
Yeah,
I'm the
they're
only
good.
one to see you.
Yeah. And they was like, I was like, isn't it your job to know there's another ace out there? I was like, do you have your TDs at each course? And I told him, I was like, hey, I got an ace right there. And I showed it to him. And then he was like, I didn't know there was another ace.
HP tournament.
I was like, okay. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, it ended up being pretty good, though. That was my
Sure,
first
he
one.
didn't know.
I
I want to tell you guys a fun story about this whole lag like crazy. I apologize. Go ahead,
Oh, you're
Jacob.
good.
The only time I've ever gotten close to a tournament ace was in league last year at Tommy Shumpert. The little A3, I think it was hole 4. If y'all play Tommy, you probably know that one. It's a little bit forehand flick for right-handed, backhand, and probably left-handed for you, Josh. So it was league. The pot was up like the $200. Threw it. I was like, oh, that's in. The A3 hit the pole so hard it bounced right back out. Like dead center. Smashed the pole.
Those are fun.
I was
Sad.
defeated. Yeah, I wasn't happy about that.
I bet. So
Yeah.
hole 12 here at Kiwanis, there's I don't know if you've heard this story, you guys may have, but once upon a time, and I've heard of some witnesses that were there that saw this, but Justin Carter, shout out to him, but his play casual wasn't in a tournament, but he aced hole 12 here at Kiwanis and then aced hole 13 right after. Back-to-back aces on 12 and 13.
Those are two pretty good aces.
With witnesses.
Those are pretty good aces.
Sure. I mean, it's crazy.
I feel like I know who that is.
This one for me, do you know Jesse? He calls himself Jesse James, but his real name's like Jesse Carter.
I think I've seen that, yeah, but I don't know him personally.
Okay, well that's his brother. Justin's his brother. They're both. They used to play disc golf a lot, 7-8 years ago or something. But they don't play quite as much now, but they're good people. I just wanted to shout that out. But hole 12 for me, just like you guys said, I'm doing the same thing you are, but just with my left hand. The only difference for me, I would say, is I don't have as big as an arm as you guys. So I've got to actually kind of take my Kahoo and turn it a little bit and then let it flex back can get that skip off the ground towards it. Like Jacob said, there's been numerous times where I've got that skip and went long past the basket and like an absolute masher on those days, but there's been days where I've, hit and just hit a little root or a rock or something and came up way short and still got, 60 to 80 feet for the pin.
Disc golf.
Disc golf.
Yeah.
No, I probably.
I also want to shout out Chad Solberg, just saying, hey. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I swear, I think my kid's yelling.
That is
okay.
That is.
I think now I'd probably be attempting to throw like a Katare or something, or like one of my overstable Kahoos. But like I said, I threw a Destroyer back then, so I mean something in that speed range. I'm hitting it forehand hyzer and just hitting it hard is what I'm trying to do. Hit it hard on hyzer and not hit it flat with the forehand. Just get that angle right. So I mean, you just do that and throw it in the basket. I mean, that's how you play that hole.
That's true. I mean, if you can just throw it once, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then walk up and be super surprised and have your heart going 400 miles an hour. You're like, I'm in the A spot.
I've never played Warriors before. I need to go up there and play.
Well, that's surprising.
It's like a 2.5 hour drive for me.
This course is like 2 hour or something. I think somewhere around that for me, I guess too, around 2 hours. Not Warriors, but Kiwanis is very similar drive.
It's one of those courses. If I'm going out there, I want to go with somebody that's played before or somebody I know. Just because that's me.
Well, now Warriors is double worth it now because you can play 36 holes there.
Oh,
they got 2 18s.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
I thought my computer quit for a minute.
Warriors will leave you crying. That's correct. Well, this I'm going to go ahead and say on hole 12, I like it. It's my favorite one. Obviously, me being left-handed, it's my favorite one that we've played so far on the course. That is, I can go ahead and tell you that's definitely going to change later. But I think this is a very good designed hole. The difference on this one is it feels like this designed, where the last two feel like, to me, I'll just personally say, I feel like the last two were like, we need something between here and here. And so they just kind of made work versus this was like designed to be the hole. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, the last two holes were like, we have to make this an 18-hole course.
Yeah.
How? Out of the amount of room that we have.
I agree with that.
I 100% agree. I think that's
hole.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else about this hole unless you guys do. No, nothing.
I think that one's a pretty straightforward, and it's the best hole that's been on the back nine so far.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. All right. Well, let's move on to hole 13, which is 200 feet. This one, honestly, it feels a little bit longer than 281, just to me. There is a wide left side gap. You can see to the left of Riley's head there. That's for like a lefty if you have too much arm, basically, to that you don't want to you want to get the skip way over there, but that's almost an impossible play. There is the right side gap that you see there, and it goes up there. You basically want to crest the top of that hill on that right side gap, and for a left start fading, just maybe 10 feet after, and you should get a little bit of forward skip. Nothing too overstable because you definitely don't want to skip to the right and end up over on hole 7's fairway, but something that's going to have like a pushing fade, and you should be able to into the circle. Now, I will say with this one, there is a cave. If you can see where that it's like downhill, you see those two thin trees. Well, to the right of those, there's a cave, and you do not want to go down in that cave because you're going to take probably 4 or 5, possibly even higher if you end up in that cave.
Especially if it's OB during tournament play.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same cave on 7, right?
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's cold down there too on both holes.
Yeah, that one is.
Mhm.
Anytime I've ever played the course in tournament, it's always OB, so it's a little bit extra factor. Especially since I think almost
Mhm.
everybody I played with goes with that little right side gap, and
I didn't even see the left hand gap you were talking about, Josh. I didn't even realize that was there.
it's not very big, but I
Yeah,
mean
Oh,
it's
wow,
there.
really? Mm-mm.
yeah, I didn't notice it.
Now, when this one's in the alternate pin, it's straight up through that gap there. So I'd throw like a hyzer flip towards the alternate and let it flip up right at that gap and ride straight. But it is an option for, like I said, but you would need a skip. Basically, like if one of you guys with your arms wanted to throw a forehand with the driver, rather than, I'm assuming you guys are going mid range on this hole. If you wanted to throw a driver, then you could do that wide with the forehand and then get the skip over, kind of like make it play even more like hole 12.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, in general, for me, I'm usually in the past I've flicked stuff like an A3, so I mean, I might try like a Kia. Um, I think I've thrown like zones and stuff like a yarn because you don't have to have. Holy cow! Oh, the heck! I should have duct taped my
And
light.
Delp has died.
Duct taped my light. You know, I went looking for duct tape and
That
I
we need to
got
caught up to
distracted by
it.
my daughter yelling. And my light fell apart just now and scared the pee out of me.
That weed eater finally got you, huh?
It
And
fell
we now
apart.
have a new YouTube short that will be coming to a channel near you.
Only if I can borrow it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to mute for a second. You guys go on for a minute.
Delp gone dark.
Or Jacob, if you want to, while he's trying to fix his stuff,
uh,
if you can gather yourself and give your thoughts on this.
whew.
So,
I, for this for this hole, I don't have a mid range. I would flick this hole forehand wise. I don't think I would throw a backhand at it just because of the way it plays out to the right. Um, and I don't really have a mid range that can push that distance because it goes uphill. That's probably why it feels a little bit longer than 280 something for you, Josh. Because it does play uphill. You have to go over top of
yeah.
that hill and stuff. I have thrown Zeus, stable Zeus, a Surge, even a something a little bit faster, something that feels a bit better in my hand and more confidence to throw on that forehand. I don't want to throw anything too slow like a Raptor because if it slips out of my hand, it's going in the cave. So I think a Surge or a stable Zeus for just to get that nice flare skip because it does skip to the right a good 40 feet, like you said, it has to have a nice fade to it. There is also a drop off
Mhm.
behind that hole too to the left. A pretty good drop off to the left for that hole too. So
Uh,
if you aren't careful,
oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go to the bottom of that. Yeah, you're gonna be at the bottom of that hill too. So you can't be throwing
Mhm.
nothing too fast. Something controlled.
What about you, Josh? Are you back and with us, or oh, well, I better mention mother here, as I will acknowledge him. His life will be complete. Flick, baby.
That's
Uh,
all.
it's the second time I have acknowledged you, sir. Go for it, Dale.
Yeah. So I'm generally flicking something up on that right side gap. I think anywhere from yarn, speed, Kia. Like I said, I've flicked A3s in the past. I don't know if I think I've flicked fairways before. It's just like if I flick a fairway and I pure it, there's a chance I'm going to go deep because it does go up, but then as soon as you get to the basket, it has that kind of like drop off behind it. So I generally try to throw
Mm-hmm.
something um, and get just a little bit of skip. But I mean, it doesn't have to go that far right. It feels like it does, but it doesn't have to go that far right once you throw the shot. If you hit the gap,
Right. Yeah.
get in the circle, and have a putt, it's just you just need that kind of little bit of push to the right. It doesn't have to be like a flare skip or nothing like that because I see people go pretty right of it regularly doing that, throwing like a fairway or something like that. They might get pin high, but they'll be really far right. So
I
I
mean, I'm
just
just yeah.
I say I aim more a little bit straight to have just like a fade to the right a little bit, but not anything too aggressive. So something in that range, I'd rather do that. And mainly, I'm trying to hit the gap because this is a pretty small gap
Yeah.
off the tee too. Because it's not like an
Right.
in your face gap. It's like not like hole 12 was, but it's like 100 feet away from you or something. You're in fairly open
Mhm.
territory and the tee, and then you're got to hit that gap, which is maybe like a 15-foot gap or something.
Yeah. It's not very big at all.
Mm.
Uh, and the last time I've played this hole, I took a two on it, but I was throwing drivers because I wasn't confident in my forehand. So I think I would probably try like maybe an Athena, uh, or a Reaper or something like that.
I've not thrown either of those.
Yeah, Athena's like a T-bird.
Oh,
Um, and a Reaper is supposed to be overstable, but the ones I've got are kind of just stable. So I think I'd
Mhm.
probably throw those on a forehand up there, something like that, something that's not too fast, speed
I,
sevens.
I do remember at one point, I think it was in a flex start at Tennessee State's, like when I was still on the street team. I think it was. I actually flicked an A4 at this one and parked it. And I mean,
Oh
those are
wow.
not that overstable. It's just like I've flicked it on hyzer, pretty pretty low power, let it flip up, and then just do that little baby fade out that the A4s have whenever they get. It was a premium plastic A4, so it's not like crazy understable, but it's understable enough to get that flip up, go straight, and then just peter out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it makes you feel like it needs to get a little bit right, and it doesn't have to really get that far right to park it. So I mean, it's whichever way you're most comfortable with. Because when it comes to gaps, too, for me, I know there's a correct speed in a lot of people's heads, but for me, it's generally like at some point I tell somebody, like, what are you most comfortable to hit a gap with? If you ain't comfortable with the disc, you're probably gonna miss the gap anyway. So if
Yeah.
you're comfortable throwing a Firebird Flex,
Right.
then try that or something instead of trying to force something, because at that point in time those gaps, you got to try to go with comfort with gaps in my head usually.
I mean that's part of disc
And
golf too.
I'm
If you're
glad
not
you said
confident,
that too.
yeah, yeah, if you're not confident in your shot selection and disc, then you're gonna be struggling the day.
Hmm.
Right. And like I think personally nowadays I would probably go Mecca on this hole is probably what I would go. I think recently I've been throwing like beat in atomic Pekka Pekka, but letting it flip up and it's been flipping a little bit too much. I say really, but it's been like half a year since I played Kiwanis almost. But um, I'm glad you mentioned that, Josh, about not needing too much fade because as a lefty person, I'm really, really bad at overestimating that and getting that skip at the end of the flight and going over. And then I've actually landed almost in hole seven's fairway over there before. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right on the edge. Like Jacob was saying there earlier, there's not many trees that separates you from that fairway, and I mean, it's easy to be kind of in that like gray area of whether you're in your fairway or you're in seven's fairway, and it's just one of those things. I mean, I think even a righty could throw a backhand that's just a flip up straight, like a neutral, and do fine on it, whichever one you're more comfortable hitting a gap with. Because I think something I could probably get to it with like a Tui. I know I could get to it with the P Waka Waka, but the P Waka would probably just go too far. But um,
mhm.
just something that just goes straight. So I mean, I don't think the best shot is a backhand, but I think you can throw a backhand on it if you really, really want to. Just throw something straight. The main thing for me is hit the gap because I mean, there's not much trouble tree wise past the gap. There's just like bad stances and stuff to get into.
Yeah, the gap's definitely the main
Mhm.
part of that hole. If you get past the gap, you're probably gonna be taking a two or a three, more than likely. Y'all need to read Steady's comments on here. They're getting
Mhm.
good.
Dude, my brain has been fried ever since my
Are they?
light blew off since me. They're at me. I don't even see his comments. Where are they?
I'm gonna look back at the comments after we switch to the next hole because I've got so much lag that like I have to wait when I get done talking to let you all have some time. So I did it again. I'll never get used to this, but I don't have anything else about this hole unless you guys do. I'm gonna say this is a good hole. I definitely like this hole.
Yeah, I like this hole. It's a change up from what you've seen. I mean, it's still one that kind of has that favor to the right, but it's still different enough to where um, like a straight shot works on it either way. So I'll give it a thumbs up.
All right. Well, with that being said, I guess we can to hole number 14 here as I throw the picture up. This is the shortest hole on the course at 191 feet. So I would say nearly everyone is going putter on this one. I personally these days am going either a flip up Tui or maybe like a Takapoo. The last time actually Delp, this is where I filmed one of our Takapoo Ace Run challenges, and it was the first round I ever played with that Takapoo, and I almost aced this hole with that Takapoos. Basically, the play on this one, as a lefty, speaking for myself, is I throw a little bit of a turnover with the Takapoo around that front tree there, get it to turn just a tad, and then get it to stable out and fly dead straight to the pin after that. So this one is a little different because the camera's so if you can put yourself on the tee, that tree that you see just to the edge of my disc there is a more play than what it looks like from this position. So it kind of looks very open here, but honestly, I'm having to throw a little bit of a turnover off the tee just to get it around there. What are you guys doing on this one?
I've had success on this hole maybe a couple different ways. I think this is another one that's going to be kind of like your comfort zone, but I do throw a forehand. When I was on the street team, I didn't. This distance was a weird one for me on the street team, like something short because at the time they only had A3s, A2s, and A4s and stuff, and I felt like they were too fast to consistently control. And I started actually messing around flicking P Model S's at the time to give myself like a low power, like just straight forehand. So I started doing that, and I've parked it with that shot before. Now I think a good shot for it is actually something like a Berg or something like that, like a flicked Berg that's just going to go straight, maybe have just like a slight push to the left after you hit the initial gap of it, because you don't need it to go far. Like you need to throw this like 180 feet, maybe 175 or something, and just like let it hit the ground and try to slide right up into the circle. Because you can go a little deep on this one if you throw it to the basket. Berg probably wouldn't, but Berg, I mean, I think you can probably do something like a zone or something like that if you're comfortable with that. But I like the Berg play because it just has such little glide, and it's just if you hit the angle correctly on it, it's just going to go straight and fall.
Yeah, I hate this hole. Hate this hole. This is probably my least favorite.
Hot take.
Least favorite hole in the course. It's so weird. It's such a weird like distance and for the shot that it is, and it's like you said, Josh, that the tee pad the whole gap is way smaller than what it looked like on that photo. I could never get the angle right on my 406. I could never get it. I was either putting too much angle or not enough and ended up into the road. I just hated it. And when I did hit it right, I hit the people on 15th tee pad.
Oh no!
And so
I still got a scar. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I was trying to take out the competition. Gotta win some way. Not everyone gets an ace off their first hole. I don't know. It's just not one of my it's not one of my favorite holes. I feel like it's another patent pending shot. Like I just don't like it. I've never had really good success on it, and it makes me mad because it's so short and it looks so simple.
Understand that.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
I'm going to throw the picture up again here and show you the line that I don't know if you've seen this. Dickerson actually on coverage. He has gone, and it is on coverage, like I said, but he'll go stand to the tee and throw a backhand with a putter to the left of that tree right there, Jacob. So there's that small gap, and then he's just throwing something that just flies dead straight. And if I remember correctly, he actually hit the pole, like hit the pin on this one. So next time you play this course, maybe stay to the left side and try that putter backhand, something really behind you want to.
That could work, but it's also Chris Dickerson throwing that, and this is Jacob Standards you're talking to.
oh my God.
That's a good point.
You beat me how many times now?
I mean, I don't mind this.
Say that real loud and clear.
You can't count.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I was just joking.
You're probably right.
He's looking back at you, Disc, right now.
I saved them. I screenshotted them, printed it out, and they're actually framed. The scorecards are hanging on my wall right over here. No, I'm just joking.
He made what's it called? Business.
Sean says he's never played this course before. Yeah,
he's played.
Sean says I've never played Kiwanis yet, but I'm excited to play after getting an in-depth review course, guys. I got to play Morningside today with my family, and I really hope that Blue Cross Blue Shield gets put there soon to make the park better. Yeah,
taking a whole bunch of they're taking out 16, 17, 18 at Kiwanis, and maybe 6, I think it was. And they're taking all those holes out, and the whole course has to be redesigned. But Morningside is probably my least favorite course.
You mean at Morningside, right?
Yeah.
I was really confused. I was like, "Holy cow, this is going to be irrelevant."
Yeah. You think Kiwanis?
No, Morningside. I was talking about you look like you were confused about the whole Blue Cross thing, so I was trying to elaborate about why.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that to Morningside. I haven't went there in a while.
RPM is making a disc called.
I don't know if that was.
This lag is horrible.
I'm not a big fan of Morningside. But
no,
anyway,
I've only played it a couple of times. It's okay, but
yeah, that's awesome. That's a course for a different day there.
Mm-hmm.
Conversation for a different day there. But
he said, "Get back." On
I don't
topic.
really have anything else about hole 14, but listen, I got to take a nap tonight. I'm tired. You should have seen
that's what you do it.
Goat Trail being Amanda walk today.
That's called sleep.
Yeah, that's what. Oh, you stole my line. I was getting the mic close. I was going to say that's called sleep.
You can't need that.
All right. So hole 14. What do you guys think? Well, we know what Jacob thinks, but I'm going to say thumbs up. I like this. So just because you said it's so dinky that you can take the 3 or even the 4 if you go OB on the road to the right, which rarely happens, but it is a possibility for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up because it's fine enough. Like it's a different forehand, but like I said, whenever we started this one, like every one of my tee shots so far have been a forehand from 10 to 14 now.
Yeah.
So on that side, I don't really like the first 2. But every tee shot I throw from 10 to 14 at least are forehands. So, I mean, not my favorite design. But I can take this hole. It's fine. I think it's a change up from the forehands I've thrown because I actually have to throw something with touch on this one. So, I'm going to give it a thumbs up just for that. And he's going to give it a fart. He's going to give it a thought.
I don't like it.
Oh, that's great. So, all right, I guess with that being said, I guess we can move on to hole number 15 as I try and throw the picture up here. Is it up? Nope. All right, here we go.
There it is. There it is.
Hole number 15. There. Yeah, we did it. We made it. All right, so hole 15 is 305 feet. At this distance, it looks like the third longest hole on the back nine, so that kind of gives you a rough estimate of this. Now, I will say on this one right here, it looks like it plays uphill in this picture, but I don't think it actually does play uphill. A little pressed the top right there. I say it's not uphill, and then I say top, but just where the top of the picture. But this one basically goes flat, maybe a tad uphill. You want to miss those trees on the left, miss the ones on the right, and then there's like a little pit you go with a bunch of rocks, and then honestly, it's pretty much dead straight. But for me personally, at my arm, it takes a little bit of turn to get there. So I'm going like old flippy run kiwi or something like this, something on a hyzer flip towards those right side trees, let it flip up and get some turn, and then potentially a little bit of like speed towards the end just to get kind of near the. What are you guys doing on this?
Like you said, I think it's just slightly uphill, but I think the hole evens itself out because it has that dip before the basket. So probably pretty close to accurate on that, how far maybe it plays distance-wise. I've went a couple ways with this one before, like a hyzer flip fairway. I don't need a fairway, but the thing that makes me throw fairway on this hole sometimes is that it's got a pretty low ceiling off the tee. So I generally try to throw like a hyzer flip that's not crazy hard thrown. The hardest part about this one is if you pure the gap, you still have to get over like that little like ground. Like I don't even know what it is. It almost feels like it's like a little hump before the green. So you can jam in that and be like 40 feet short sometimes. But I might try like a low power like Pekka Pekka, or I might just try like a Hex or a Pewok because it just depends. I want something that's not going to turn over but flip up and just go straight. And I want to say this is not a par 4, but it is on the score.
Nah, it does say par 4 on the tee side. Yeah, you're right.
Back when I threw a ton of Prodigy, I would throw an M3 at this hole. Just because something that's kind of straight and flat. I've thrown buzzes now. I think I've thrown an Undertaker before. Probably could throw one of my Flippy or Reapers out there, just kind of let it hyzer flip up and go kind of dead straight and kind of fade at the end. The only problem with this hole is the rock guardian. There's a big boulder.
Yeah.
Like big wall boulder that blocks the. If you hit that line, you have to make it over top of it, or it blocks your putt, and you have like a 30-foot putt from that boulder majority of the time.
That's maybe what I was thinking of. I was remembering there was something that kind of blocked the green, and I couldn't remember if it was like the green was a little bit higher than the ground or if it was a boulder. But now I think I remember the boulder.
Yeah, it's a big rock right there. It's like a big about 3 foot, 4 foot high, like by 6 foot or 7 foot boulder. And the green on this one next to the pole is like pretty packed dirt. So if you're not careful, you'll skip a mile.
Yeah.
So you gotta throw something that's kind of not too skippy, but also not too fast. I mean, it's a very touchy hole.
That's the touchy thing with throwing the fairway on it. You got to be a low power.
I like this hole though.
Yeah, because I've actually skipped and ended behind hole 16's tee pad before on this one.
Big boy.
Talking about me hitting people on 15.
Yeah, sure.
It's
just one of those, like you said, you get that skip, you know what I mean? And it can get way down there. Like I could honestly see you guys, I could see you throwing in the whole 17th fairway on this one if you get it right and it misses everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Big
I
mad
mean
if that happens.
it takes a lot of control, I think, on this one to actually get the distance correct and the height. Because I would distance wise, I would rather throw a mid, but I find myself throwing fairways on it sometimes just because I want that flight with. But like you said, it's skippy. So I've seen people throw the hyzer before. I just don't trust myself to do it.
Like to throw out to the right.
They
No.
throw over the field and just
Yeah.
try to go over the trees and crash down to the right, which I've seen. I mean, it sucks over there sometimes, but if it is a par four, so I mean, if you make it all the way to the basket, there's a good chance you can just pitch out and take a birdie.
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, you step up to this hole and you're like, okay, I want to get a 2 on this because it's going to be an eagle
Yeah.
on the scorecard, and it's very doable, very doable. So
I mean, the only time I've seen somebody do that line that you're talking about, Delp, I saw him lining up for it last time I played the States, and I was like, this is going to end well because it was super windy and rainy.
yeah,
And he said, I'm going to throw this flippy disc. I was like, I just kind of looked down. I was like, I don't think this is going to work out very well. And he threw that thing and it flipped. He said, what the, Jason? And I was like, oh.
oh
I was
my
like,
god,
I just kind of,
I've seen people do that play as well, but I really don't like that play because to me, it's like there's so many trees over there. Like you might as well go to whole, what was it, 10 that we started with and try and throw down through the middle, like not the left gap or the right gap, just try and throw through the middle. I feel like it'd be, what I mean, it's almost that thick of stuff. So I don't like that play at all. I mean, if somebody's got, I think Eli and Alex could probably do it. Some of the guys with like the real big arms in town to get actually over everything, but you don't want to bring those trees into play at all because then you're behind every bit of that, and that's you're going to take the par four on that one.
par four. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I've never tried it. I've seen people get close, and like I said, if you've got big enough arm, you can throw it 300 feet in the air and be pin high, and maybe just try to pitch out and have a short putt. But I think the easier way to it is it's not easy necessarily, but like this would be a really good par three. I think if they actually had it in tournament as a par three, because this is not one that people are going to two all the time, but it is doable. So it would be a good score separator because it starts happening sometimes too. It's like you want to do it, but you're okay with a 3 because you know on the scorecard it's still going to be a birdie. My
Right. Yeah.
computer's taking off again.
I don't mean to stray too session, but I love this comment from Stella here. It says, bag check. How many in your bag right at the moment have you aced with? I am at 2 right now. Takapoo, Pekka Pekka. What about you guys?
I think I'm just at 1 right now.
That's
because
number 7, Jacob.
Yeah, this is 0.
I think I'm at 1. I think I'm at 1 with the Takapoo, and then the disc that I did have in my bag that got lost on hole 1. The Ridge has never been returned back to me. Had 2 aces on it, so now I don't have that one in my bag right now, or it would be.
Ooh.
Yeah, somebody has to have that thing. And
Well,
yeah,
it's got names all over it. I don't know who wants that besides me.
I mean, yeah, somebody somebody took the Baysinger traveling disc, both of them. So I mean, people like signed disc, I guess, from random people.
I guess so. I don't know. That happened, and I was like, man, I would love to have that.
That's true.
It would be cool.
I don't know if the ace count, the A3 hitting the pole so hard and bouncing out counts, but that would be one. And the amount of times the amount of times I've hit chains off drives and stuff, and it's not gone in, it's unreal. It happens all the time.
I feel like
you're throwing with that bionic arm, bro.
Wrong arm.
I feel like sometimes aces
right.
come in groups. Sometimes they'll have like a dry season for like a year or two, and then all of a sudden you'll get like 2 or 3.
The
Yeah.
aces I hate is the one that
You
you get
see
when you're playing by
Mungo's comment
yourself.
here?
Which one? Where?
He posted on the thing.
He got his
Back.
first ace yesterday. The RPM Kia at Harcourt Park. Harcourt.
I missed
That's
that.
one that I called Haircut Park that one day.
Haircut part.
Is it not up there anymore?
I think it is so far down on mine. Oh, okay. I see that now. That's awesome. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So
Give
cool,
him a
man.
whoop,
Congratulations, Mungo.
I know Baysinger's an insane clown posse fan. So I
To
want
keep
to do
topic,
that.
don't make me pull this Ethernet cable out and close this podcast out right now.
We're done.
You're done.
Bling.
All right, so hole 15. I'm gonna go ahead and say this one is my favorite one so far on this back nine, just simply because there's if you look at it, it's straight, so you think you can just get up and mindlessly throw a shot, but there's actually a couple of different lines you can do. Like me personally, as a lefty, I can do like a hyzer on something just on that little left side gap to the left of that one tree. I can throw a hyzer flip down the middle. I could even go forehand on this one if I had a good forehand. I feel like it's one of those where it's, you think that you got it covered. I mean, it can be a mindless shot, but you still have different options. If, say, your hyzer flip's not working that day, you can do like a hyzer. So I'd say you guys could do like that forehand on that left side as well. Does that make sense to you guys, or is that silly?
I mean, I think a forehand can work on this hole for a righty too. If I was throwing forehand on it, I would probably try like a flip up, like a controlled one, like an understable or like neutral disc or something. But I mean, this one probably is in my running at the moment, like between probably this and 12. That would be my favorite on this 9. I just don't know which one I would like. I do like that this one is the first backhand hole that I would be throwing. So
Yeah. I just think that I have so much more confidence in my backhand that I probably wouldn't throw a forehand here.
no, I mean for me, it's such more. It's makes so much more sense to throw a backhand on this one that I wouldn't throw a forehand off the tee ever probably. But if I did try one back in the day, I probably would have thrown a forehand on it when I was pretty dominant with forehands and stuff. But for me, it's just such a higher percentage chance that I'm going to get a 2 on it if I backhand it. I'm going to go backhand. So it probably is probably one of my favorite ones on the whole back 9. Although I got to say, I really like hole 12. I can't say I don't like that.
It's a good hole. I just feel like it's a good, just traditional disc golf hole to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just it's not even that it's just that great fun to play, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
is there
for
like continually a bee's nest on this hole though?
Probably. I always hear about somebody getting
there used to be one on like just off of hole 8's tee, which is fairly close to there. But I don't recall actually seeing a bee's nest on this one.
I've walked this fairway so like a few times in tournaments, and always that right side, right where it kind of opens up and like the ground has all that like stuff on it from the trees. Like I see just bees all over the ground, and we're always like, "Ooh." So I don't know if it's like a different because I don't know that they're yellow jackets, but we've seen bees before, and I've almost walked right into them. And that's happened like 2 or 3 times in tournaments there, and I'm like, well, if these never like taken care of, or are they very resilient?
They're the Morristown bees.
Yeah, Morristown bees. It's right past
Well, they
those
did take
rocks.
those ones out on hole 8. They had someone actually come extract them from the tree.
Oh, really? Oh, I know what
Yeah,
you're
and then they
talking
cut the tree.
about now. They were up in that knot, like or something, up near
Mhm.
halfway up the tree. Yeah, I did spot
Yeah,
those
they
at a
were
decent
actually
time.
professionally extracted.
Yeah, I got nervous on that tee that time. I looked up and I went,
Sorry, I was reading this comment from Mother, and I
All
was
right.
like, "What is he talking about?" And I realized, oh, he's talking about DGPT.
oh yeah.
Is there a tournament on right now or something?
He says there is. I wonder. It's not the one that's going on ESPN right now, is it? Or is that
Oh,
later
one of the
date?
old run, the ones from like this past season. Is that
I
what
don't
it is?
know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I, I don't have anything else about this hole unless you guys do.
No, I think I'm good on it. I like it.
Besides
It's a good
this,
hole. If it was par
Jacob,
three,
it was,
that's better.
Yeah, I like this one.
I agree, Josh. I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, I'm reaching it. Me playing intermediate, I'm reaching it 90% of the time. You know what I mean? And if I don't, then it's just because I hit something.
Yeah.
This is. I like this hole because I'm mad about the last hole, so I can actually throw a discard on this one.
Oh man.
All right. Well, let me get the thing switched over here, and so once again, delay here, but we can move on to hole number 16. It is 254 feet. This one to me is one of my absolute favorite holes on the course to watch a righty backhand turnover shot with. Something about this hole for me, just seeing the flight of that. Most of the professional level players are doing that kind of backhand righty turnover, and I absolutely love it. So it's very short, but there is down to the right side. There's a huge pit down, so you definitely don't want to finish on the right side. And there is OB long of the basket, as you can see there, that there, and then to the left a lot of this is one of those for me. Basically, on this one, it kind of depends on what my arm has been doing for the rest of the round. Most of the time, I'm going to be probably going with either a P walk or a Kotaku, depending on how much spin I've been getting that day. And if not, then I can go with a Takapoo if I've been getting some pretty good distance on the day. So, what about you guys on this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat when it comes to like when you said it depends on what my arm's been doing that day, but it would be if I've been throwing good forehands or not, maybe because I've thrown so
Mm-hmm.
many up to that point that you can sometimes get to a point to where a part of your throws is kind of cooled down if you've not thrown a backhand hardly but one time since
Right.
hole 9. But I like throwing a putter that's like that hyzer flip to straight backhand. But if it's been a while since I threw it,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one or two I threw were not the correct releases, I might just trust flicking something that's not quite as overstable and just playing to get like a slide to the basket or something instead of something that's being too aggressive with it, like maybe a base plastic yarn, or potentially even just try to flick a berg at it or something. But I do enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
flight of the backhand on this hole if I throw it right. Just something that's just
Yeah, I
neutral.
love watching that.
Because once you throw it, you're just like, oh, that's nice. Because it doesn't take that much of a
Mm-hmm.
movement to the right. It just needs to be a gentle movement. Like I could see throwing something like a beat in Takapoo or something flat and letting it just ride to the right, or like a Tui or something that just kind of like flips up and just rides over to the right and sits on the ground. So I'm kind of up in the air. It's how my rounds have been going probably that day. If I'm super confident in the forehand, then I might just go for that. But I like the backhand on it.
I've thrown forehands on this
Mhm.
hole. I think a backhand would work for sure. A little backhand anti flex. I think it'd be pretty good. Or a turnover would work pretty good too. A turnover would probably be a lot safer. You just gotta have the right disc because if you get one that's too flippy, you're gonna end up down in that ditch on the right. Same thing with the forehand. It's a very. It looks like a very straightforward shot, but you gotta be. It's a little more tactical than what you think for sure. It gets in your head if you're not careful.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, this one honestly is one of those holes too that you to actually get the birdie, you don't necessarily have to throw the shot that's the perfect shot. If
No.
it makes sense to you, you can take a putter and just throw a putter as straight as possible and be in the circle.
I'm thinking if I threw it today, I'd probably throw a Luna, one of these Tour
Mhm.
Series ESP Lunas, because they're kind of flippy. They're not super stable, it'll just go straight. I mean, they'll take a little turn to the right, or I throw one of those ringers, those flippy ringers I have, that flips up on a backhand to flat to go straight.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot. What is this one
Mhm.
like 250 maybe? Is that what the distance was?
It's like
It's
two some.
254 is what the T sign says.
Yeah, I mean the just a straight shot, but like it's really pretty whenever you throw the shape of the fairway. You get that like flip up down the left side and just let it flip and just turn with the fairway. When you see that, you're like, oh man, that's nice. That's
I like
nice.
that.
I like it a
Right.
lot. You like it a lot, but if you can kind of push
Josh,
that
this
right side a
almost
little bit.
makes me sorry.
Oh, you're good, dog. You good.
I was gonna say this one makes me think. I'm trying to cut in when I hear a gap, and then by the time I talk and you guys hear it, you've already started something else. So I'm just completely interrupting you guys all night long. So I'm sure you appreciate that. I was gonna say though, this one I feel like on hole 16 here, it's similar to hole 13. What you said on that one, to where off the tee it looks like you need to go right, but you necessarily don't even really have to. So it's like this
Mhm.
is like the baby version that's not uphill of a hole 13 kind of.
Yeah. And I always I choose like the putter on this one and stuff too, just because of that walking path. Because I mean, even a putter, if you throw the right power on it, you can hit and slide into that walking path, and they do play that OB during tournaments. Because I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
dirt patch enough to where there's not a whole lot of grab on that like left straight side of it. I think there's grass to the right in there, kind of
Mm-hmm.
a little bit safer on that right side, but you are putting uphill or flirting with kind of going too far down to the right. But yeah, I like you can not necessarily cheat it, but you can almost throw like just a straight shot and be right inside the circle there, pin high. It might be a little bit scarier putt than if you pin it, but it's still one of those ones where it's not that bad. You can make the putt.
I would rather be putting from pit a little bit than putting towards the pit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, ideally, I just want to park this one.
Yeah, yeah.
It just looks great. I mean, I
Exactly.
always try to play my misses and stuff, and I generally do. Sometimes I play like if I play short, just barely short right, it is like a 15-foot putt. It's uphill. I mean, it's uphill enough to where, yeah, you got to consider you might miss the putt, but uh, I don't know. I like this hole. I think this
Mm-hmm.
is probably play wise and the look of it is probably my favorite hole because I just like Basinger was talking about the watching a flight once you pure it is really nice. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably one of the more open holes on this nine, probably
Yeah, either that and 12, I think, are, yeah.
12
Yeah.
R, 12 R, 12
Yeah.
is pretty open. I mean,
17 as well.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
until this point, yeah, it's probably one of the more open holes until this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this hole.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else about this one. I think it's a thumbs up hole. It's one of those tricky distances where you can go long OB, you can go down in the stuff on right. I mean, just looking at it, I'm sure a lot of the viewers are. This is an easy throw. Get up, throw a forehand, throw a backhand turnover, take your two and move along. But the two is not as common as you would think. Out of a card of 4 people, I'd say most of the time, maybe depending on the division, obviously, but you go 1 to 2 twos up in your lower divisions, and then even professional and AM or I'm sorry, in advance, probably somebody's going to miss this hole on almost every card.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably only been on cards where I've seen like me and like another person or 2 other guys to it outside of me. I think it's pretty common to see at least 1 to 2 people not to it, just because it's easy enough to mess up. Like you can,
Yeah.
if you do go too straight, like I was talking about,
Mhm.
and you let it drift left, you get behind those trees between 17's tee and the basket, and then you don't have a putt.
I
So
mean,
I
just like
mean,
you said, just
I've
like
seen that
Mhm.
happen.
that video you posted on Facebook not too long ago, Josh, where you said the easiest holes can sometimes be the hardest.
Yeah, yeah. If it's really straightforward, sometimes
I was there for
pretty
that.
easy.
I saw your tattoo. I knew that was you. I was like, oh, that's Josh.
Yep. Yep. I
He
stepped
said it
up.
right before too. He's like, "This hole is just so dinky."
I said this hole's dinky enough to miss.
Yeah,
And then
it's the famous last words.
I turned on the
Mhm.
camera and filmed it, and I went, "Look, I did it.
Oh,
I threw my shot and did it." And it was because I didn't have my yarn that I lost too. That I didn't have the pink one in my bag.
it's
I
like
had
going,
to
hey
go.
guys, watch this. Famous
Yeah,
words.
Yeah.
too bad. It was quite
Oh, that's
funny
funny.
and angering at the same time. But yeah, not much I don't think left on that one. I
All
think
right.
it's a
Well,
good.
I don't have anything else about this hole. Right. I agree. So let me go ahead and try and get hole 17 pulled up here. Just a second. All right. So hole 17 is 290 feet. Um, this picture is taken quite a long time ago. This left side of this fairway has grown up so much. It's almost that whole left side is covered up there. So this one used to be tricky. Me personally, as a lefty, I used to throw just like a kind of a straight hyzer shot and let it fade right as you can see right those rocks. This one's going to be one to explain a little bit more, but basically you want to see where those power coming down in the background and up there into the right. So basically I'm throwing towards those power lines and letting it hyzer there. Try and get some skip off those rocks. Usually I'm going to hit those rocks and sit down where I'm at. But nowadays, just because of how much this is growing out on the left side, I'm actually having to do a little bit of anhyzer off the tee, like kind of almost go around that stuff on the left side and then fade off just because how much that stuff's grown up. I don't know if you guys have seen it in its current state or at least in the summer, but it's pretty, that's just grown out pretty far.
Surprising.
It's been a while. It's been since Tennessee State's this past year for me that I've seen it because I went to that flex start at it.
Mhm.
That's
So I mean, it's
surprising.
been a little while. I throw a
Surprising. Yeah.
forehand.
So you know how pin on this one used to I could just throw just dead straight on a left hand backhand towards the short pin. It's just dead straight, you know. Well,
Yeah,
now I actually have to take a turnover putter like that. That's how much it's grown out. So it looks quite a
wow,
bit different now.
interesting.
That's
I've
surprising.
thrown stuff
Mm-hmm.
like Firebirds or something on this hole before. It basically I throw a forehand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd like to look at it now, but I generally try to hammer a forehand on hyzer. Um, and try to just get it to push underneath the tree limbs on the right side. I want to just miss them, but I rarely ever have success on actually parking this hole. I'm usually left with about a 35-foot putt.
This is probably one of my favorite. I love throwing on this hole. I throw
Mhm.
because I don't know how. I'm really surprised it's grown out that much. I mean, if it's surprising to let it grow out that much, Josh. But I'll throw like a nuke, just something that I can throw not too hard and let it fade in real nice on that curve. Something that's gonna push a good ways and then fade in to the right. The only time I don't get twos on this hole is when it hits like it's a little short and it hits those rocks at the end, or it hits one of those rocks towards next to the basket and rolls down the hill. Because
Mm.
I've thrown it and it's hit right there next to the basket before, and it's rolled all the way down the hill,
Mhm.
even to the right, even to those trees to the right where he was throwing at. And I was just sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that's rough.
Mhm.
I think what's his name?
This one for me. Go ahead, Jason.
I was trying to find a comment. I saw somebody said something about Huya, but I don't know if it's about this or not. Oh, it was Chad talking about they look beefy. They can be
I
overstable.
tell you for sure with the left-hander. I, I did. Yeah, I don't think I could reach this one with a Huya and a big, huge turnover. You know what I mean? And just it'd
Mm-hmm.
have to turn the whole way and then flex right at that. Basically, on this one, I mean, obviously, Kahu, like Mungo said here in the comments, possibly Kahu. But like, I honestly like this one for myself. I like the whole lefty kind of like just kind of throw and let the disc do the work. You know what I mean? Now there
Mm-hmm.
is potential. You still have to let it fade at the right spot, but it's also it. There's not as much difficulty to this one as what it looks like off the tee, in my opinion. Just because I want a hyzer and just picking the right disc, and then you're going to get usually you get some skip up towards the basket. And even if I don't get any skip, I still have a putt from like 40 or so.
Yeah.
I think I just have bad luck on this hole because I throw the same shot that everybody else throws. Like I'll throw the shot. I'm like, oh yeah, I threw that the same, and then I just jam the rock right next to where they landed, and I sit like 35 feet. I
Mm-hmm.
just never get the skip that takes me to the basket. I either skip off the ground that's right, and then I skip into one of those trees that are just left of the basket, or I hit one of the rocks and it just goes
Mm-hmm.
thump and jumps backwards. So I'm like, I feel like I've thrown the correct shot a bunch of times. It's just I've never had it pan out to where I park the basket. I'm either like 30 feet, 35, or I've got like that 25-foot putt to where I have to straddle out as far as I can from those trees that are just barely past the basket. And it gives me just a weird enough putt to where I'm like, I usually miss it because I have to throw like a nose up ante or something at it. And the thing about this one too is whenever you're putting
Mm-hmm.
that, you've got to be conscious that you don't want to skip off the top of the basket and go OB because that walking path's pretty daggone close when you're putting straight
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yeah.
Because they actually paint a circle on this basket and the circle goes well outside of the walking path once you go on it. So, I mean, if you're putting directly at the walking path and you skip off the cage or off the top, I mean, there's a good chance you're going to go OB. I've seen it happen a
Yeah.
few times, so I'm usually giving it one of those safe
Mm-hmm.
bids, and it usually just doesn't work out.
Something else about this whole, like you've thrown so many you've thrown a backhand on 16 and you've thrown a backhand on 15. You've gotten away from the continuous forehand, so it might be like, oh, I have to throw a forehand, I have to throw a good distance straight. So you might be one of those things where you just like just trying to remember the groove again for the forehand just from throwing the couple backhands and the two holes waiting backups. How tournament play is. Um, it can get into your head that way too. Like, okay, I've thrown these all day. I've thrown them good. Am I holding this right? I can't remember. I just concentrated so much on throwing these backhands. That's something else I can play on this hole too. A little bit of separation.
I think it can sometimes play the opposite direction though too, because if you've been throwing bad backhands and you get back to a forehand hole, you're like, okay, yeah, let's do it again. I'll
or,
take
or
it.
or you could be like me, like, well, Let's see how this goes.
I mean, if it's somebody that's really proficient at a forehand or something like that, and then they're probably licking their chops to get back on one of these holes just so they can throw another forehand on it. Because I mean, sometimes if you're feeling it, as soon as you get back to a hole, like you said, it's like it was comfortable. I was nailing them all day. Then it's one of those things I might not be thinking about. I'm like, all I need to do is just throw it like I did earlier and do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see it go both ways. If you're more happy with the backhand or something like that, and then getting back off of a backhand hole, or if it's just like you've by chance. I mean, it can happen, like you said, tournament things. Maybe a daggone thunderstorm happens right after hole 16 or something like that, and then your forehand gets really iced or something because you got a 40-minute wait before you can throw again. Then you get iced, and the forehand's the first shot back.
Oh no.
I've had that happen before.
Listen, I don't know what y'all are talking about. We've played 17 holes on this course, and I've not thrown a single forehand.
Yeah, well,
We don't want you to.
you've thrown them in a different way.
We've seen your forehand.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You talking about the forehand that beat you 6 times, Jacob?
You didn't throw a forehand then.
Even in
I threw at least one forehand in the crap.
even whenever it's a forehand hole for him, he doesn't throw forehand.
It's true. It's true. So hole 17, I'm gonna say thumbs up.
I am too.
What about you?
Yeah,
guys?
it's not like an overwhelming hole for me, but it's fine for me. The only problem I have with it is how close 12's tee is to the basket.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with it.
That's gonna be pretty dangerous too, because you could be right there on.
I've almost hit somebody there before, and then walking off the tee too. You can be right in your throw. You can be right in your throw, and somebody walk right out from behind a tree, which is very in play, especially if you accidentally hammer a forehand or something too hard. So course design wise, I guess they're just trying to fit it or something. I don't know, but having the placements there, I'm not a very big fan of. But the hole is fine. It's just that's a thing that I'm not a big fan of is how close those tees are. I mean, you can literally be having a conversation. Like they have to be quiet on the tee for you to putt.
Yeah,
that close.
Yeah.
Like true. If somebody's sitting, they'll usually stand there and watch you putt instead of throw because it's so close. Like you might end up on their tee putting. Disc can land on the tee. So.
Yeah, it's awkward when you're lining up.
I've seen it
too.
Well, I've not seen them land on the tee, but I've seen them land past it. Honestly,
yeah, and then they can't throw until you putt.
It's awkward whenever you're lining up.
Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah. It's awkward whenever you're lining up that shot and you see disc flying all of a sudden from the end of the fairway. You're like, oh.
I get nervous on 12's tee if I know people are over there throwing on this hole. Because, I mean, you can be sitting there mid getting ready to walk up and then just have a disc. And then you're like,
yeah,
what? You got to reset or something. So, I mean, that's my only, that's why I'm like that. I think it's a fine hole. I just don't like that aspect of the situations that it can cause in tournament. Casual round, it's not a big deal. Generally.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't even think about that, honestly, because I don't know when the last time I played a tournament at Kiwanis was. I mean, it's probably been a couple of years. So I don't think I did any last year. So, I mean, I don't think that way because I don't play as many tournaments as you guys. But that's an excellent point on that one because I'm thinking casual every time we're talking about these. So, yeah, that's
and
definitely
I'm always thinking about tournament. I'm always like tournament round. Like, I'm always because I mean, I guess that's all. Generally, when I play these courses, a lot of time it's in tournament. So I mean, that's most of my memories is tournament situations and stuff. So it's funny though. Two different ways of seeing the whole. It's nice though. Like I said, if it's casual round, I think this course sets up pretty good for just casual. Man, this computer's notifications are loud. That I'm gonna have no. Eardrums left. If you see me jump and do that, it's because it came through my headphones. But Yeah, it's like a
Really.
good, really good casual course, and tournament is where I generally some of my problems is where they start sneaking in is whenever I'm talking a lot about tournament stuff generally. So
Right.
Hmm.
I think Josh,
All
I don't know
right.
how you, nope, I don't know how you do this, but every time I play, of course, I'm kind of thinking in a tournament mindset, just because
mhm.
I want to kind of keep that pressure, um, kind of in the back of my head. 'Cause I know I want to be prepared to play a tournament and have that tournament on me, just to kind of get that as a norm. There's a couple times I go out there and just have fun, but I mean, majority of the time, if I'm playing a course, it's a tournament mindset type of thing.
I mean, in general,
Hmm.
for me, a lot of my stuff is really um, tournament motivated. So a lot of my stuff is kind of in my mindset is like practice in general, no matter when I play, because I don't play a lot of rounds. So whenever I am playing rounds, it's my
Hmm.
practice because I know people that play 2 or 3 rounds a week at least. And I'm like, I haven't played a round in 2 weeks. Like most of the time, I'm going outside and throwing approach shots or something at my house or something. Like a lot of my disc golf is actually practice. So when I go on a course, it tends to be the same. I'll either score, and then if I'm going to a course where I'm actually playing for a tournament, I don't play a round. I don't score a round ever. Like if I'm practicing the course for a tournament, I'm like
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't play. If I park a hole or something like that, I don't play that shot. I just don't keep score that round. I just
Hmm.
know if it's a course I've played a lot of times and I'm going for practice, I try to keep a expectation out of my head, and I just treat it as like I'm trying to practice the lines because I know what I can execute already. And then the other times, if I've not played a course, I don't score it because I don't want an expectation there. And then at the end of the day, when I play the tournament round, and if I've never had a round there, I can still go how bad it was. This was the best round I've ever played here.
Hmm.
I don't know. I always like to keep scoring in the back of my mind. I'm always trying to hit the lines and stuff like that, especially when I'm practicing. But I always want to know, hey, am I playing better? Am I improving in my game? It's just something. Most of the time, if I know I'm doing better, if I actually hit my putts, but that's that's part of the game.
Sometimes the for me, I you can see progression in that, but at the same time, for me, like I can play around sometimes and shoot 3 or 4 strokes worse and be throwing better than I did whenever I scored that day. Like I can be pure in my shots and getting some just random unlucky things happen.
Mm.
Like say, like I threw the shot, tee shot perfect. I approached the green and I hit a rock with my disc and it kicked up and rolled to 40 feet, and I didn't birdie. And the day that I birdied the hole, I threw a worse tee shot, got lucky, and missed a tree and parked it or something. Because I've played rounds at the Ridge before. That's one of the
Hmm.
things. I quit putting on hyzer for a while because I played a round one day where I had like 8 rollaways to where I was like, I threw the perfect upshot. I'd bend down, pick up my disc that I just threw from, and I'd look and I'd go, why? And then I would take a bogey or something because the shot I just threw was for birdie and it rolled away down the hill or something. So I mean, I can see that. I try to just gauge off of my stuff in general if I'm hitting gaps and stuff, and I try not to let scores go too bad. I just look at what my potential is in general. I try to gauge that. I try to keep myself in a range whenever I'm playing. I'm like, I expect myself to shoot here or here, and I know that I can shoot really good up here sometimes, and I want my low to be a minimum. I try to do that, so I set goals whenever I play courses that I want to average here, but I know I can shoot up here if I'm just on my game.
I
And
mean,
that's
I understand that completely. I mean, I'm always been I know ratings probably aren't the best way to show how a person is actually a good player or not sometimes, because ratings can be very skewed um,
mm-hmm.
based on who's actually in the tournament or not. But I know that my rating does not define the way that I play, so I'm always
Mm-hmm.
trying to get. My goal is all for the season to be 900 rated. Whenever I play a tournament with a person, I play advanced, and they're like, "How?" And they'll go back and look. You can go back and look at the players on the PDJ sign up thing. And like, how are you rated like 890? You're playing like a 940 rated round right now. I said, it's the putting. It's all my putting. My putting's just garbage.
Well, that's like Jimmy around here. Jimmy Yance, like he can throw, and he's shot really good rounds before. He won an advanced tournament one time, but he's like 884 rated or something like that. And it's just one of those things. If he gets on with his putt and he keeps his confidence while he's playing, because he's one of those people too. Or I mean, I know a lot of people like this, not just him. Is that once something goes wrong, that's right here the entire round.
Yeah.
It lives rent free. And if you want to keep a good streak, I mean, I'm not the perfect player, but I just know enough to where I'm like, if I let that stay there, I'm just going to play worse. It doesn't matter. Like if I miss a play, if I get a roll away, okay, yeah, I can complain about that later. But what I got to do now, I got to step up and try to make the putt or erase it on the next hole and get a birdie.
Right.
I was like, I can't change it. So he's one of those people like you're talking about. He's like 890 something rated or something like that, but he's shot like a 960 or 970 rated round or something before, or a couple of them before, and he's been in contention in intermediate and won an advanced tournament before.
Yeah.
But the ratings are very up
Right.
and down, and sometimes that's just by mentality, or ratings are an imperfect system.
I mean, I know that
A little both.
whenever I play advanced, I'm
Mhm.
out driving majority of the players that I'm playing with. If we're on an open hole, I'll end up out driving that 20, 30 feet.
Yeah.
And I can hit my gaps pretty well. It's just the putting. The putting gets me those little like tweeners that you're really nervous about. Something I definitely have to work on.
Yeah, I mean, putting is definitely, generally, putting is what's the separator usually between am and pros
Yeah.
in general, is being able to putt within like 40 feet really consistently. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even that consistent. I generally feel like I'm a good putter, and I generally feel like I putt better once I'm in a tournament.
Really.
Yeah. I like being under pressure for something. So I feel like I don't take it sometimes quite as serious. I still take it serious when I practice, but when I get into a tournament, I do my routine generally better than I do when I'm
Practice.
practicing.
Yeah.
So then I feel like I putt better usually. It's just I really want to make the first two putts.
Yeah, that's a confidence setter.
Yeah, I usually want to. Ideally, whenever I step up to the first hole, I want to park it or be in a situation where I have to put it at 15 or 20 feet and take a three, make a putt. That's what I tell people. I know some people are like, I'm not putting anymore because I'm going to use up all my putts. I'm like, if you give me an hour, I'll sit here and putt 400 times because I like seeing the disc go in the basket.
Get that
I feel like that's important to have like the visualization of the disc went in the chains, the disc went in the chains, the
right.
disc
Get
went in
what
the chains.
that and getting that feel and motion down.
Yeah, we're gonna go about 3 hours if we keep talking.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Tournament
that.
keeps
I was
going.
just thinking. I was thinking the Banks going.
Sorry, Baysinger. He went off.
So
He
hole
went,
18.
Baysinger went and had ice cream, took a
No,
nap.
you're good. When I talked about that napper, it's not necessary anymore. I dozed off there. So.
Yeah, nap called sleep.
All right, so hole 17. I think we did this about 20 minutes ago, but I'm going to say thumbs up on hole 17.
Yeah, we'll just go on. Yeah, go
And
on now.
Sorry
we
about that.
will move on for the next 45 minutes. No, you're good. All right, so hole 18 here at Kiwanis is 303 feet. If I'm wrong, guys, but I think this is the longest hole on the course. You can see the basket there. So basically, there's this big tree right in the middle of the fairway. The left side gap, I know it doesn't look like it from the picture, but the left side gap is a lot smaller and the right side gap. The camera's more on the right side of the tee there. So when you're standing on the tee, that left side gap is a lot smaller. For myself personally, I'm going with something like probably a Kahu XG, and I'm doing like a turnover shot, and I'm going to do like an Anheuser that'll turn right after that big tree that you see right in the middle of the fairway, and get it to push while it's up to, you can kind of see the trees up on the left side up there. I want it to start fading right around there because the basket, I don't want to enter the right of this basket because there's gym on that side. So I'd definitely rather turn it too much, but not enough to go to the OB path, but just something that I know for sure is going to turn and get just a double fade at the end. And this one also, before I let these guys speak, it's also down as a par 4, as you can see on the tee sign there. So, what are you doing on this one?
I've kind of went back and forth a couple times with this one. I think I've thrown forehand before in the past. I'm pretty sure I'm usually going to be throwing something like a mid-range. It's neutral, maybe a low-speed fairway that I can hyzer flip up. I just don't want it to like flip up too much, which generally is the mistake I make because I get scared of that walking path on the left side. Because I definitely don't want to go OB 20 feet off the tee. I've seen people go OB near the basket as well, so I don't want anything that finishes too hard to the left. And I'm kind of okay with how you said you don't want to go right of the trees at the basket. I'm kind of okay with my disc actually coming in that side and just playing the chances of me getting a skip into them and having a putt. Because if you get to that cluster of trees, you're going to be near the basket for me. And a lot of times people mess up.
Well, for you, it's going to be different because you're skipping towards the basket and I'm skipping away. True. So I'll be trying to putt through the. Yeah.
Yeah, you're throwing a forehand. You're throwing a forehand back.
A righty forehand.
Yeah, I forgot. I actually did mind the laps off that. So, yeah, for me, I'm actually skipping towards those trees coming from the right to the left. So if I get something that kind of flips up, goes straight, gets a little bit movement to the right, because ideally for me, what that flight's going to do is it's going to get off the most distance for me off the tee if I execute it correctly without hitting a tree, if I hit the gap. So that's what I'm thinking of. And if it skips into the tree and I'm near the basket and have a straddle putt, that's fine. And then if I skip in and I miss all the trees and park it, that's cool. I've two'd this one, I think, once or twice, and I can't remember what I threw, but I feel like it was an A4 back when I was on the street team. Like I hit it super hard. So I don't think it really plays that far, which honestly, you can throw a 300-foot shot and be 20 feet from the basket. So that's another way I look at those holes. We've talked about it before. If I throw it that far, I'm got a 20-foot putt. So
I would probably. I've actually got a 2 on this hole before, throwing an FX3 slot hyzer and letting it flip up and go dead straight with a slot fade. So I'd probably throw like my flippy Reaper, something that's kind of the same flying disc, a little bit more stable, but that's perfectly fine. Something that I'm going to put on a little slot hyzer. It's going to flip up, go straight, and fade left of the basket there. It's I think that's pretty much going to be the shot for me for this hole for right-handed. I don't think I'm going to even try and attempt that forehand on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
You're welcome, mother.
I think this one's pretty straightforward, though. I mean, you got to hit the gap is the biggest thing, and then eat off. Like I keep on saying weird words for it, eat off. Bite off.
Dyslexia happens, man.
I'm
ADHD,
hungry.
dyslexia.
Bite off. Bite off as much distance as possible and get near the basket because it is playing as a par 4 in a tournament too. So you want the 2 because I don't think this one's like a super common 2, but it is 2'd. usually by somebody, I think, in a tournament or a couple people. But generally, like I said, I think it would maybe you see more twos on this hole. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong, but maybe if it was a par three, maybe it should be a par three. But if it was a par three, maybe because you have more people saying, "I need to get this one,"
I
instead
think
of
the only one that could possibly be an actual par four is probably too long. I
yeah,
mean, I think
probably.
that's already only hole on this course that probably could be an actual like par four, and
Yeah.
it'd be a soft par four.
Now 18 long could be as well.
18 what? Did you say 18?
Long. There's a long pin. Have you guys played that one? Yeah.
No, never. Never.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm lagging a little bit, but I'll try and show the picture again to show you. All right. So if you can see like where the wall of trees is there, where the basket is, it's the long pin is basically like past that and to the right of the trees up there. So it's like do you know where the picnic table is?
Yeah.
Near like
Yeah.
walking back towards the beginning of the course. So it's like maybe 30 feet in front of that and on the right side of that fairway, like almost like really close to that drop-off hillside to the right side.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that probably being more close to a par four or more likely to be considered a par four.
Yeah.
That would be like you need to use that gap I'm talking about. I'm fine with going to the right of those trees. That's the gap you're trying to hit then at that point, right? To get to that basket, like if I was throwing a backhand, I'd be hyzer flip
Right.
with something
Yep.
that just rides barely to the right for a while. Not like an aggressive right, but kind of hyzer flip straight right. That'd be kind of cool to play just to see what
I'm
it plays
basically
like.
long pin. I'm basically throwing the same disc and just not as much turn. And at that point, I'm hoping to skip out through the other side because then I got a little tooey jump putt or at worst got a little toss. You know what I mean? 80, 90 foot toss there.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that one maybe being considered more for a par four. This one, the short one, is definitely just a really a fairly difficult par three in my head.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of people taking threes on it. You do see fours and stuff just because of OB and junk and early tree hits. And if you hit early, it is a hard three to scramble past that wall of trees and stuff.
For sure.
But I mean, it's a decent finishing hole. It's not easy or anything.
Go ahead, Jack.
I'm good with that. I was just saying I think it's a pretty decent finishing hole because it's not like a give me. It has a gap and stuff to execute. So
Right, and that's really the only reason that I would say that long one would be not necessarily the distance wise. I wouldn't. Even the long one would be a par four. It's just because that angle is so weird because there's not going to be a lot of people going to be. Well, I'll say this. I know, like you said, you can putt. You know what I mean? You have to be able to putt, but there's not going to be many people who are going to get up there and be in the circle on that long one in one throw.
Right.
I get that.
I'm going to go ahead and say this one knocks out hole number 15 is my favorite hole on the back nine. Simply because I still love 15. It's a very, very close for me, but 18 for me, as you guys know, I'm doing mostly backhands. This one to me is one where like I have to do like a full turn and then a flex. And to me, this is just like classic disc golf where it's like you don't just throw and hope. Like you actually have to hit a line and get it to fade where you want it to get the penetration towards the basket and get that putt for the two. I've twoed it plenty of times, and I've also took 4s and 5s on this hole. So I absolutely love this hole. I think it's a great finishing hole. I know you said that it's maybe not one of your favorite finishing holes, but this is one of my favorite finishing holes just because there's more technicality to it versus, 18 at Cherokee, wide open. 18 at Frank,
Mhm.
wide open. I love the visual aspect of it. 18 at Panther, wide open. This one right here, you're finishing. You can't just throw a wide open shot. This is the most technical finishing hole on in Morristown.
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Staley. Oh, Staley.
You're good.
Delp looks like he's in an alien spaceship that's currently having a rave. Oh my gosh. No, I do think this is a good finishing hole. I think it's good, and it's a different hole than what you've seen on this whole back nine. Basically, it's reminiscent of
Right.
15. It is. I feel like the
Mhm.
shape wise of it and stuff. It's that kind of straight shot, barely left, and you got to hit a gap to get there. Is the
Mhm.
difficult part. They're both par fours that are very doable. Um, so I think it's a
Mhm.
good one. I like this hole. Good in general. I like it. I like it. It's not my favorite. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
with 16 maybe
Uh,
being my favorite on this nine.
okay. Well, I guess I mean he kind of gave his thoughts on 18 as well. What he's doing right. I mean, he kind of went through his.
Yeah, he
I
was
think he
talking
likes the
about
hole
what
and
he liked. Yeah,
yeah. So if you're good with it while he's out, we'll go ahead and we got two last things. I'll just say thumb up on this one, and then since we just finished it full on Kiwanis, just go ahead and finish up with that, and just basically say this to me, this course, first course I ever played, so it's always going to be in my heart as one of my favorite courses, just because of that nostalgic feeling, getting standing on hole one and remembering that first time standing on a disc golf tee. It's not the most long course. It is quite technical. It's not the most challenging course, but it's one of my favorite courses just because it's a course where you can shoot 5-6 down, and then you can turn right around and shoot even par or 5 or 6 up, just because of the technicality of it. So, thoughts on the course as a whole, Josh?
I think it's a good fun course. It's actually one of the courses that's like in my top. I believe I said it was like in my top two in Morristown. Just because I do like little
Mm-hmm.
wooded courses and stuff. I like throwing putters a lot and in general. So it kind of is one of the courses that I'm more comfortable throwing the shots on, because a lot of other Morristown courses are very
Mm-hmm.
driver heavy, and this one isn't necessarily a driver heavy course for me. So, and here we don't throw nearly as many drivers as what you all are, just because we don't have the places to throw them really, or the need to, because the courses we have don't
Mm-hmm.
require it. So, I mean, this course ranks high for me in the Morristown lineup. I couldn't tell you exactly in my whole course lineup where it is, but I do like it. It holds some good spots for me memory wise. I got my first tournament ace ever at it, and my highest rating in a round so far. I want to say so far because I'd like to shoot a higher one. Came from this course as well. So I mean, I can't say that it's a bad course. I think it's a fun one to play. I enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit.
It's a course where, honestly, like you said, you could have like your highest rating, like you have, but you could also get your lowest rating at this course, just because of the nature of the beast, or
I
the
could
baby
see
beast,
this
I
one.
guess we should call it in this case.
I could see this one if you're having a really bad day, giving you a fairly low rating. Now, I will say Rogersville has probably produced my lowest ratings before. Uh,
Oh,
past
yeah.
past this course, but just because I think I, I do agree you can get some pretty low ratings here. Like I said, if you're just off and you don't get yourself out of the funk, because there are quite a few tee shots
Mhm.
where you need to be hitting gaps, and if you're not, you're missing birdies that somebody else is getting. So it is one that can hurt you. I've seen it
Mhm.
happen I generally,
Yeah.
like I've said before, I think I've shot like 8 down here. I don't remember what my first time I ever played here was. Actually, I think the first time I ever played this course, we didn't get to play the whole course because it started raining and like almost like a tornado came through. We were actually on hole 12 when that happened. It was blowing our discs sideways across the ground, so we left, and that was like maybe the first or second year I started playing disc golf. I went with some people that had played before. So I don't remember what my actual first round there was score wise, but I've shot 8 downs and I've got 11s, 12s, and I've got the 116 down. So, so I usually now when
Oh
I play
wow,
that
that's
course,
crazy. I think.
I have a high expectation for myself now.
Oh yeah, I understand, and that's kind of how this course gets you, to be honest, because I've shot personally. If you go by course par, I've shot 10 down out there, and that's my personal with that. I know I can do better because there's like we went through this whole course, and there's not a single hole on this course that I've never twoed. So I know for
Mm-hmm.
sure that I can do it, but it's just a matter of actually doing it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those courses, man. It's like it can get to you, or you can have the best round of your life. So one of my favorite courses. So Jacob, welcome back. We just finished up, just basically rehashing our opinions on the whole course in general. Now that we've done it. So if you want to go ahead and give your thoughts on the course as a whole.
Honestly, it's a good course. It's a good little warm up course, I would say. Really
Mhm.
get you hitting lines, stuff like that. It's really good for beginners, I think, to really learn how to hit lines and practice shots that are
Mhm.
unconventional sometimes. Um, it's a pretty good course. It's a little fun course. It can also be a very frustrating course. Um,
Mhm.
but it's I like it. It's if I'm going up to Morristown, if I'm driving an hour, 45 minutes away, it's probably not the one I'm wanting to play the most. But as long as I'm with friends, and playing with have a good time with friends and stuff, I don't really care where we play.
Right. I understand that. Well, I guess that's almost it. Now, Jacob does have the giveaway that he's going to be doing. I'm going to let Jacob take a few minutes. Do you need a few minutes to call in, or are you good? Like, because
I've
I
been
can discuss before.
if you want to go ahead and discuss, I'm gonna go look through these comments and see which one I pick. And we'll kind of get into that here in just a minute.
Okay. All right. We'll do. All right, we'll do that. So just while Jacob's doing that, looking through the comments, and I'll throw the picture up of the disc as well that he's giving away once we get to it. But I want to show you all this. So this is something new that we're going to be doing here on the whole discussion that we just starting today. So I got this fancy little box here, which I absolutely love. Not sponsored by Sky Breed, but if you want to send me a free disc or something and sponsor the podcast, go for it. But I like the Raven and the basket there. But so this box, as you can see, has tons. I'm just going to grab a bunch here and show them off, but tons of little pieces of paper here that are folded up. So these are all of the courses that Delp and I have both played. So to keep us from having to figure out what courses we're going to talk about on the next whole discussion, I've got every one of those courses in here. I'm checking it up, and my cat's looking at it, so hopefully he doesn't jump and knock this out. But you can hear that being up there. And then I'm going to draw a course out of here. So I guess you can see that just to make sure people know that I'm not. So
He's rigging it.
I'm going to go ahead and draw one out. I'm not. Do you want it here? Look, let me show you again. Can you hear that?
I can
All
hear
right,
it.
now I'm not. All right, so I've got a course here, and this will be the course that we talk about in 2 weeks. Are y'all ready? I got it written in markers. See before me. What's that say? Looks like. Ooh.
What's that say? That
Can you see what that says, Josh?
Lehman Field.
Lehman
Wow.
Field. All right. So, the course
Man.
Josh Delp design. I can't wait to talk trash about that course.
I need to make that way
I'm
up
just
there.
joking. So, in 2 weeks from today, 7 p.m. Eastern, Delp and I will be reviewing the Lehman Field disc golf course, which he designed, which is going to be really fun because we've not done a course that he's designed yet. So I'm pumped about that one.
One of two and hopefully more coming, hopefully.
Right. I hope so too. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the picture up once more and give Jacob a couple minutes here or a few seconds and show again he's got this die that he has done here. This is Sail Die Glow After. So while Jacob's still looking at the comments here, please consider going and following him on his social media. It's T-Rex Disc Golf Dies, T-Rex Disc Golf on YouTube. And then just if you like Jacob as a person, like a good friend of ours, I'm sure he'll accept a friend's request on Facebook because he's a good person. So maybe. We'll
Maybe.
see.
He might.
Are you ready?
I've got a couple. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna dim it down to and discuss with y'all. So Stelly kept pulling himself out of the hole. He put himself in the hole at the beginning, pulled himself out of the hole with a comment at 8:30. Let me see if I can go back up to that comment. I don't think y'all saw it, but I thought it was hilarious. Oh, they're back to 8:30. That's like 2 hours ago.
Let's see if I can throw it up on the screen here. I'm trying to scroll up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
8:30.
Did you pick something in the last 3 minutes?
No. I've been looking throughout the entire chat. I've been kind of looking over and laughing to myself and whatnot. Every time you interrupted me because you're lag, I was laughing at the comments. I gotta find it. It's 8:30. It's like 8:30 on the dot. I remember exactly when that one was.
Oh, mother.
It said, "If Delp's rabbits
I've
make
been scrolling
rabbit
this
babies,
time. I'm at 9:14, so
it's okay." It says, "If Delp's rabbits make rabbit babies with Baysinger's rabbits, do they create a new species of Delpsinger rabbits?"
Delp singers.
Delpsinger rabbits.
You know what's funny is I call him Bird Singer all the time.
I thought that was hilarious.
Old Bird Singer. That's pretty
But
good.
the thing is, he keeps talking about my Vols, so he took himself out of it now. So he's
He took a big hit on that one.
He keeps bringing it up about Georgia. I'm not happy about it. I don't know why he keeps doing it. But he was back in, and he had me. Then you lost me. All right.
Hey, did you see Mother's new comments though?
oh.
I can read
Ready
it
to
to you real quick.
ready to talk to
I
NFL?
swear to God, if Stelly wins.
No, you're good. You're so dumb for you tonight.
He said,
Then
every week and Stelly wins every single week.
no, he ain't winning tonight. He's already shot himself in the foot. Maj being mother being mother, saying how T-Rex was baby T-Rex was the highlight of his day. I appreciate that. That was really cool. I think that's hilarious. That's one of the best comments of the night. He just shot himself in the foot. Who I think I'm going to pick though is someone who is designing a course, the first course in their town, is running their own putting league. I think that's really cool to grow the sport. If you have the opportunity to, that's really awesome. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to. Let me see if I can find the comment.
I think I saw it earlier. I remember.
Yeah.
Can you give me a time frame so I can?
I'm trying to find it. He also thought my kid drooled on the disc, which gave it extra value.
Yeah, I see that comment that he put.
Let's see here. Hex. We're talking about the hexes there. Undertakers. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments.
By golly, we'll make it to 3 hours.
it's at.
I'm looking.
It's kind of near the. I thought it was near
Oh,
the
Lord.
end, close to the end.
Out of space to scroll. I don't get any more timeline.
you gotta get a little time to load.
He ain't letting me go no higher. What in the world?
Anyway, I can't find the comment. But
Well,
it's
while
always
you're
on there
looking,
somewhere.
Jacob, I'm gonna comment as scrolling up here.
It won't let me.
Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe that'll work. I think I know who you were talking about.
I think they've already got it in the chat. Just about. They probably already guessed it. But I just want to see the comment where he's trying to put on it. But he's starting the first course in his town, and he's actually doing a putting league that has like 10 to 20 people on a wait list just for the putting league. So that's awesome to be growing the sport and stuff like that. So Justin Spears, I can't find your comment, buddy, but I think you've got the disc here, buddy. This is gonna be going towards you. I don't know how we want to get a hold of.
Ooh, it looks
don't know if you
better
wanna-
on there than it does on the picture you sent me.
I don't know if you want to send Baysinger your address and stuff like that, but I'll get it to you.
Boom. It's awesome.
Yeah, either way, congratulations, Justin. That is an awesome disc. For all of you that didn't win, but please consider following Jacob, and hopefully Justin does as well. But that's super cool of you, Jacob, for doing that. Make sure you guys follow T-Rex Disc Golf Dies and T-Rex Disc Golf.
Justin, Stelly's still shooting himself.
Still trying to find the comment to throw it up.
Getting his friend request denied. Nah, he's definitely.
He even called it.
Yep.
I got one of his comments here.
Yeah, that one. I think it was higher up
not
that he said
one,
he was designing the course. He's designing the course in his local town, or trying to anyway. I just couldn't find it.
Yeah, I
There's
saw
so
that
much.
comment earlier. It wouldn't let me scroll no higher. I got stuck. Congratulations.
I also saw that he mentioned, since we're on the conversation of him, I also saw that he said that he's never played any courses in Morristown, and asked what the most must play course in Morristown. I can't remember if he said Morristown or Tennessee, but if you're going Tennessee, I would say Harmon Hills. Absolutely. Yes. If Morristown, I would personally say Franklin Reno, because there's 2 baskets per hole, and you can choose what layout you want to play. So,
yeah, I would be up in the air. It's hard for me to tell. It depends on what kind of disc golf you like. I think for me, if you like open disc golf, then you can go play Cherokee, have fun. If you like wooded disc golf where you don't have to throw a lot of long shots, then go play Kiwanis. It's gonna be fun. Frank is cool. I like the OG Frank better than I do Blues.
Yeah, OG Frank is where it's at.
And then
right,
I like Panther. I just don't like playing Panther when it's disc golf time generally, because I just, like I said, I just don't like ticks that much. But Panther is very challenging, very grueling little course to play. So, but I agree. If it's just Tennessee in general, my favorite course is Harmon Hills.
I played Harmon Hills once, and I had a blast playing it. That first hole is so pretty.
Well, there's another message over my Facebook. It blew my earballs out.
My earballs. Your earballs?
Yeah, my earballs.
I apologize to everyone. I mean, I've been scrolling up this whole time, and I can't quite find that comment. But regardless, I threw one of his comments up here. So, once again, congratulations to him. And
do you want
say
to
what, Josh?
Do what now?
Do you just want him to message you on Facebook or something, Josh? Or
That's fine. You can either message me on Facebook. I'm just Josh Baysinger on Facebook or Baysingers Disc Golf Channel on Facebook. You can shoot me an email, baysingersdiscgolfchannel at gmail.com. It's Baysingers with it. I've had so many people type Baysinger Disc Golf Channel and not get it. So make sure you get that S in there. Baysingers Disc Golf Channel at or like I said, just like we'll definitely I'll get your, if you want to send me your address, where I can get you in touch with Jacob, however you want to do it, man. But we'll get that disc shipped out to you for sure. So, once again, I don't have anything else unless you guys have anything. I just want to say once again, Jacob, huge thank you to joining us on the past two. It was fun to have you. Unfortunately, you said you've not played Lehman yet, so might not see you back for the next one, but you're welcome anytime. It's a course that that you have played. So,
oh, Justin's in Cleveland, Tennessee. That's actually not too far away from me.
oh, okay, cool. Well, good. Just deliver it to his house then. Jacob is currently knocking on your door, so just open the door and he'll give that to you.
I got your disc.
He got one of those green screen things on his neck, like them people. He's really just carrying his house around right now.
Just RVing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Like I said, join us in 2 weeks for the Lehman Field Disc Golf Course whole discussion episodes 5 and 6 will be 6 and 7 will be front 9 and back 9 at Lehman Field. Next week we'll be live over on Daddy Delp Disc Golf. So I want to ask everyone here in the comments. I'm sure most of you already had, but when we finish up here, please go follow Daddy Delp Disc Golf. Will be live on his channel next week, same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for just tucking around. And make sure you follow T-Rex Disc Golf, T-Rex Disc Golf guys. Follow these guys because they're good friends of mine, and if you really appreciate it if you support them as well.
Yeah.
It's
been fun. I'm tired and hungry though.
Got a little.
Hey, at least we made it.
Yeah,
2.5 hours. Not.
Yeah,
I like how Sally was like, "This is my favorite 8-hour podcast."
Oh, that's what I was laughing about just a minute ago. I threw my head through my back right here because he said that. That's pretty good.
All right, that's it, guys. Once again, Delp, Jacob, thank you guys for joining me. And I will go ahead and start in the process. Thanks to Mungo, Jotha, everybody who's been tuned in. We've had some great comments tonight. I can't wait to see the number of comments. There's been at least 8 people on the live feed the whole night, so this has been amazing. Really appreciate you all, and thanks. And that's it. You guys good?
Yeah, we're good. My laptop's about to take off. I think again it's revving its engines.
All right. All right. Well, thanks. Shout out Chad also. He said, thanks, guys. Love the podcast. Thank you, Chad, for always supporting the channel.
Chad,
support these guys as well. Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody. And see you next week over at Disc Golf. Y'all have a good night and appreciate it, guys.
Peace.